Oh my gosh, we are several hours late, but we are finally getting this going. I also need a haircut. That's on my list. Oh, how is everyone doing? Let's get this started. It's been a day. It has been a day. Let's just put it there. Oh, I bet we're on 4K and we should be on. Oh, it's so far away. I can't see it. All right, as you guys are joining, going to go stepping away to fix the camera. Boom. All right, no one's on yet. Doesn't matter. We're so late that who knows what's going on. Missed so many people. Sucks. I hate when we start late. Oh no, I totally have it right. Everything's good. Camera's good. Why do I worry? All right, we got the good microphone, which you guys can't see because it's down here. We got 5 people on. All right. Sorry for stepping away there. Desert Sunset is here. Hey, how's it going? I'll type back just in case anyone's wondering. It was a quick one. I'm on a 56 millimeter this week for no particular reason other than I like it. I actually wanted to try a 75, which is brand new, which is this bad boy right here. This is my least used lens. I feel like it's getting jittery. See if I can get it to focus. There we go. Oh, it does not. Nope. Kinda. It's like, okay, maybe. This is the Suri 75 millimeter f1.2 sniper. Some serious glass. I'll show you the glass in there. See if we can see it. Oh, I don't think it's gonna let you really see it there. Can I get a reflection on it? See how much glass is in there? I wanted to use this one, but it's hard to get the camera far enough away to actually use it in my office. We'll see. We'll see if at some point we give that a try. Ooh, I see it on the, it actually looks kind of cool. It's, Desert has retracted his message. Did he say good evening and it's really good night? Inquiring minds. KL7RRC says, Hola Scott from Eastern Washington. Hey guys, how's it going? Tonight, we are brought to you by, it is Victoria Classica, but apparently it has no label. I have no idea why it doesn't have a label. And of course, I can't show it because I can't get my head out of the shot. It just, fruitless. This is why I need a producer with multiple cameras that can focus on thing. Patricia's here. Hola, y'all. All right. I apologize for starting 4 hours later than I had been hoping to start, but it has been a wild evening. If anyone's been on the Expats WhatsApp group, you may know what's going on, and I had to step in and kind of rescue people. All right. I didn't send a online to the group. I'm talking about the group. Do I tell them we're on? I do not. Nope, that was wrong. And so better late than never, getting everyone on. Oh, I'm just noticing Luke, who's not on because he's there, made it to Patio by Woods before the band started. I really like that place up in Matagalpa. It's a nice bar. So I have wonky teeth. All you guys know that I have wonky teeth. It's part of my charm, right? But sometimes my jaw gets out of alignment. Like, I guess they do that. Like, it's just kind of a millimeter off. And this tooth, the really bad one, knocks into things, and it drives me crazy. I'm constantly like, oh, it feels terrible. It's hitting things, like hitting other teeth and stuff, and I can't quite control it. It's awful. And I notice when I'm doing the show, when I'm in like day to day, I don't talk that much. My jaw doesn't move that much. So I don't really notice it. But when I'm doing the show, I hold my mouth slightly differently while talking, and it causes me to knock it, and I'm actually hitting my teeth. It feels like you're biting a fork kind of thing. Just kind of even saying it is like, well. Patricia says, there's drama on the WhatsApp group. I'm definitely joining now. Bum, bum, bum. There was serious drama, actually, tonight, although I don't think many people actually caught just how dramatic it was or how much was going on, because things got deleted and a bunch of things happened offline, but there was legit drama this evening. And like, everyone here is like, you shouldn't get involved, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, this is like bad things are happening and we need to actually do something about it, like important stuff. All right, there is the link for those who want to join the WhatsApp Expat group. Patricia says, if you tell them you're live, we can't talk about them anymore. It's true. We had a few minutes to talk about the WhatsApp group. Jan says, lol, I've been gone and then working. I'm pretty sure Franklin is playing at Padrino's tonight. Franklin playing and some pizza would be fun, but Patricia says, new series, Scott Allen Miller is getting braces in Nicaragua. It's not a terrible idea. That would be really funny. Bo Boone is here. Hi, Scott. Bo from, did I say Boo? Bo Boone. No, that's what I said. My brain is lagging tonight, and it's my first beer. Bo from Wisconsin. Wife and I have a simple home in Managua and are looking. I have a simple home in Las Piñatas. That's perfect. Are looking to be in Nicaragua full time in the next few years. Love watching your videos. Appreciate the content. Oh, thank you so much. Hey guys, welcome to. Hopefully you're watching in your living room, so you're getting a like on the big screen, and people can be like, he's waving at us. Right, that's part of the fun. For the rest of you, I was not waving at you. You have to save your excitement for a time when I do. Janice says, oh, shoot, I missed tonight's drama. Yeah, but you had plenty the other night. It's been a drama week. Gosh. Tonight's drama was quiet compared to the other nights. What did we have? I think it was over 2,000 messages at like 4 a.m. Oh, you even said I got the other drama the other night. Patricia says, spill the beans, what happened? So tonight was relatively light. It was actually, we had to dig through this. Like lawyers were involved, like a lot of things. Like my lawyer, literally one of the lawyers for one of the people on the thing is leaving right now. Like you can hear the engine in the background with the microphone. You might see the lights, right? So like literally stuff is going on. There was this is crazy. There was a misstated date. If you're like, that was February, 15th, but it was really February 22nd kind of thing, in a casual conversation that had nothing to do with anything in particular between some people, apparently this morning, resulted in person B receiving the date and running with it as really hard fact without actually checking the date or anything, and decided that because the dates weren't what they expected, that something had happened that had not, and made threats against someone's family, got really, really angry about something that hadn't happened. And even though the person they were threatening had proof, or at least pretty reasonable proof that had not happened, they didn't back down, and so a lot of stuff going there. So that was tonight's drama. So but it was really confusing. Because no one knew where the trigger had been, how it had happened, someone thought that the whole thing had started from the group, which is not true at all. It just got brought to attention in the group. It actually happened because multiple people from the group were offline. I mean, this is your lesson, right? Stop talking in the real world, only talk in the group. And it led to a bunch of confusion, and then people were sending messages around to be like, oh, this happened, that happened, except no one was quite clear what, when, and who, and why. And so that led to an escalation of confusion. It was just bad. And so I took like an hour and was digging through everyone's WhatsApp and everyone's different things and like, wait, what date? Wait, when did this happen? Wait, who said that? And like piecing together this chain of events. And I'm like, none of this matches the narrative I've been told. And everyone's like, so it's been tonight's has been a bit. Janet says it's because Boone starts with boo, so it seems like you said boo. I know. Bo Boone, but it's easy to say Boubon, which would make him French. Hello, I am Francois Boubon. Bo says, only for me. Oh, sorry, it's just you. Janet says, it went so late, I had to go to sleep before it was over. This is the other night's drama. And Bo says, Janet, people call me Boo all the time. It is funny. Good, he has a good sense of humor about it. I mean, of course, his wife calls him Boo. That's got to be her nickname for him. If not, the opportunity is just, it's too big and it's lost. I will be very sad. So the other night in the group, oh my gosh, just the sprawl of drama of people, and I don't even want to go into it. It was thousands of messages of people who have very little connection to reality, no connection to reality in Nicaragua. Not that was even relevant to the conversation. It was just unbelievable toxicity to a point. And we gave so many warnings. And at the end, I'm like, this has to stop. And I was like, okay, don't say this thing again. This is too much. And don't defend saying that thing. Like, you want to talk offline, that's fine. Don't do it in the group. This is not something to go back and forth with on the group. It's offensive. It's really offensive. It's offensive to a lot of people. It's not offensive to just a small group. Like, not that makes it okay, but this is just generally offensive. And they were just like, you don't like it because it's real, and just doubling down on toxicity. And I'm like, oh, well, that's defending it. And I just said, don't defend it. Just, you can say you're sorry. You can say nothing. Talk about something else. All cool. Like, we don't have to reiterate it. You don't have to say you're sorry. We're cool. But don't keep going. And two people were just like, no. And so, yeah. We didn't delete those messages. So anyone who actually wants to experience all the toxicity of that message, feel free. It's not going to knock your socks off. It's just, you're just going to shake your head a whole lot and be like, I kind of feel like this mild, like, malaise of offense sort of throughout the thread, but for the most part, I feel a lot of stupidity. Just, it was a lot. Brian Lopez, I'll be in La Barrio in 3 weeks. Excellent. Any particular place in La Barrio? Probably the Hostel Leyenda, because that's where everyone goes in La Barrio. Does everyone, I want to know, to all of you, not Janet, obviously, but to all of you who come visit Leon and those who, like, know the show, and do you go? This would be hilarious, I think. There should actually be, like, a pamphlet because of, I mean, I'm not saying the show the show's pretty big. So it would be cool if we had a pamphlet with some stuff and you went to Leon and it was like, okay, the tour starts at the Super Express La Barrio, because the Super Express La Barrio is my house where I filmed all of 2022, starting like January 23rd all the way through November of 2022 was filmed in what we call the La Barrio house, but is now the Super Express on 4th. And so you can actually go in and be in my living room where I filmed a lot of episodes, and you can stand out front where I filmed a lot of episodes, and you can be like, oh my gosh, that's the kitchen, that's the hallway. You can't see too much of it because it's a Super Express, but you can actually be in my old house anytime and start there. And then if you walk like 1 block east, Arriba, you will go past a school where I filmed an unbelievably large amount of content, and then you'll go to the church, which is where I filmed more content than anywhere else in 2022. That was my 2022 filming location, and honestly, I filmed so much in the little blocks around there that I feel like we lived there a really long time, but we didn't. We didn't move in until January, and we'd moved here in November, and in between was we weren't really looking for another place. We were there a ton. Oh my gosh, Brian's here. And so it's like, I feel like all this really iconic, and it was for me, right? It was when the channel became a channel. Prior to that, it was just me, kind of fooling around. But that was the year when I was like, okay, we're going to do this every day. We're actually going to make this show like it's a real thing. And so for me, like the amount of time in my mind that I spent at that church, that's where I had my office in the building next door. and filmed a lot of episodes there. It feels like this really big block of time, and that house feels really familiar, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that was our house here, but it wasn't. This is our house here for so much more time. We've been here 3 times as long already. So you could go see like all of 2022's filming locations in like a 2-block area. And yeah, there's a lot of times that I wandered other areas, and yeah, you could, that's different when I'm doing barrio walks. But when I'm doing my non-barrio walks, I think La Barrio is pretty cool because you can go see all that and like do the Scott Was Here tour. How funny would that be? But I want to know how many people have done that. It's going to be crickets, I'm sure. Edwin is here. Hi, Scott. Finally, the brand new Carl's Jr. restaurant in Esteli has opened. All right. If only they had the veggie burger, I would go try it. Brian says party is over. I'm here. Brian, what date are you coming down? Because Brian is coming down. He's going to be on the show. Many of you who watch a lot of my stuff, Brian Watson, that is, have seen Brian on the show in the past, but very little. 2022, I believe. Right, Brian? Or was it 2021? Oh, my gosh. It was 2021. No. It was 2022. So Brian, who just hopped on, is coming down soon. He and I went to San Juan del Sur and Laguna de Apoyo in Granada, and he came out to Leon and did a number of episodes and some touring around in 2022. And if you watch my Guatemala series from 2022, I got back from Guatemala and had like 1 day before I had to go to San Juan del Sur because Brian was arriving. I think that's how it all was. Anyway, I had to get him the next day. So that was the timing there. And of course, he's coming down now, right as a million things are going on. So I have a whole bunch of stuff happening around here as he's coming down. Edwin says also a new plaza just a few meters east of Las Colinas, first entrance by March 17th through 23rd, according to local outlets. I know about where that is. How far off the main road is the plaza? Brian Lopez, I have a house 2 blocks from the church. What direction? What street? What street are you on, Brian? Jan says, oh, hostel. Oh, do you own the house or are you just staying at a house? I guess that would, if you own a house, then it's really exciting. If you're just staying there, you might be staying across the street from my old house. Like, where are you staying? Jan says, oh, Hostel Leandis sounded really familiar. That's down the street from our old La Barrio house, and the owner is a friend of Ramon's too, of course. Yes, of course. Oh, bugs flying around tonight. And I didn't have timer, didn't think to turn the air conditioning down, because when I do the live stream with the lights, it gets warm. I can go all day without air conditioning, but for the show, I really need it. Oh, so how was everyone's week? Sorry for getting on so late. What do you guys got going on? What's been happening? All right. Oh, I have to move all my windows around. What hostel and hotel? Oh, wait. Brian says, I need to buy tickets still. We will chat maybe this weekend. All right. I'll be around. We got to figure it out. I may have someone coming to visit later this month. I do have April, who has only been on the show for maybe 5 minutes, 2022, in episodes around, early 2022. But she's going to be on a bit, hopefully later this month. She gets here in like 4 days. 4 days? Yeah, I think 4 days. And tomorrow, for those who want to join me, so I got to mention this a few times. You guys help me remember to keep bringing this up. Tomorrow, we are going to... Brian, 6th would be west of the church. Are you sure it's east? Should be Abajo for 6th. Because the church, I think, is at 4th and 4th. and then 4th and 5th, and then the Super Express is between 4th and between 5th and 6th. I'm pretty sure. So I think you're west. It's a family home that's being passed down to me. Okay, that's really cool. Tomorrow, if you're in Leon, on the main square, a little bit after 2 o'clock, try to get there at 2 o'clock. We are going to be filming an episode, so all of you who want to show up and get on the show, show up at 2 o'clock, look for me. I'm the big bald guy with the beard and the chele. And I'm going to have a little bit of a crew with me. La Marcelita can't make it. She is in Managua with her kids getting ready for her next chemo treatment. Hopefully it's like 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks, and we should have an update. They're going to do extensive tests and see how she's doing. And then we'll have a major update on her for you guys. But tomorrow, 2 o'clock, we're going to be filming an episode about cooking empanadas on the square. And Russell, my empanada girl, who was on the live stream last week in a video that we showed her dancing, she is going to be making empanadas on the show. We're not going to be filming a live episode, right? We're not streaming from Central Park, but we are going to film an episode out there, and it is an opportunity for you guys to come out and hang out with the show and to potentially get on the show and say hi and get empanadas. So come out and buy empanadas from Empaniki. I don't know how to put the logo up. I'm going to try to figure that out shortly. And so eat empanadas and get on the show. Okay, Brian says, it's a family home. My grandmother is there now. From the front of the church, just walk 2 streets down. So, Brian, if you go from the church and walk 2 streets down, that's west, and that is the block with my house. Where are you compared to the Super Express? Jan says, which part of the square will you be in? Ramon might be working. He was by Sestao today. I know where Ramon sets up at Sestao. I don't know where she's going to be. I'm just going to get to the square and track her down. She might pop in, and La Marcelita might pop in, and if they do, they'll tell us where to look for her. But the square is not that big, so I have no idea. I think she has a spot that she normally works near, but I'm not sure. All right. Got a lot of people on. Jan says, aha! Renee is here. Yo. Yeah, Brian, a tour of the house would be awesome. We have filmed houses on that block before. I'm wondering if it's, there's only a couple houses there. I know every house. I am trying to keep up with... Trying to keep up with the WhatsApp group as well. Ooh, and several of you guys joined the WhatsApp group today. 3 new joins since we went live on the live stream. Awesome. That is great. How many people do we have now? 138, which is really good. We've had a lot more people in the group since we did the bans a couple nights ago, because we had one person specifically that was just crazy toxic, and sorry, always messages coming in because I'm the one holding down the fort for the office at all times. Trying to keep up with all the messages all at once. I'm still trying to clarify for people about the things that were going on the thread today. My right shoulder is still pretty messed up. We're pretty quiet today. We don't have enough going on, but wild times. Oh, we got a lot of people on. This is awesome. Yeah, everybody got a beer? Everybody ready for this weekend? Who's coming out for empanadas? Janet wants empanadas. Vince says, hello, Alan from Florida. MS says, I joined today. I assume means the group, the WhatsApp group. Welcome. Brian says, I haven't gone in like 10 years, but I'm coming back to resolve a few things and see family. Very cool. Renee says, who's the awesome birthday party singer? Renee, do you mean the girl in white that was singing at my birthday party? I assume. I don't know what else it would be. Brian says, I'm by the burger house. Yes, so Brian, my old house touched the burger house because it's the Super Express. And so you'd have been the house next to the burger house. So we would have been one door down from each other in 2022. Edwin says, did you see the horrific car crash in Las Cibetas in Managua 2 nights ago? Involves a trailer that hit a taxi and then slams high speed into a house, destroying it with some trees. Wow, no, I didn't hear about that at all. I don't hear too much about accidents in Managua, even though those things do spread through the country pretty quickly. Tim says, hola. Martin B., I'm enjoying a nice Tonya here in San Francisco, California. How did you get a Tonya? Do you got a store there that sells them? They are generally pretty hard to track down. Once have I seen them in the States, maybe? Like, it's pretty hard to find. But this is a Victoria with no label. Where the beer has no label. Oh my gosh, U2 would have been proud. I couldn't think of U2's name for a minute. The taxi driver was killed, the truck driver was injured, and the house occupants were not in the living room area at the time survived. Wow, car was crushed. The accidents that we have in Nicaragua are absolutely crazy. The amount of high-speed, just wowzer stuff that happens is nuts. So I'm still explaining to the parties involved all the stuff that went down with the threats today, with the drama. And they're like, well, maybe this happened. I'm like, no, it's all in the screenshots. Everything was recorded. Well, but maybe it was this. No, it was not. It's in the screenshots. Well, I don't know when that happened. The date and the timestamp are in the screenshots. Like, everything's in the screenshot. Just look at the screenshots. Everything can be decided from there. Like, all the information, there's no ambiguity. I don't understand why everybody's so confused. Read the chain of events. That's the thing about WhatsApp. It happens in order. One thing right after another. Hold on. I got to answer this. Hello, you are on the live stream.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Scott.
I don't know. I don't have everyone to talk to right now, so I think wait. I mean, I can message them, but I don't even know where they are. All right, cool. Thanks. Cool. Bye. All right. I do have a car for sale. If anyone's looking for a late model, I think 2015 white Toyota Corolla, that is definitely not the right car for me, but is pretty nice. Ooh, hit the like, fam. Yeah, absolutely. Hit that like. But it says most stores in Miami carry Tonya. Oh, good to know. Rennie says, yes, girl on white, didn't realize, happy birthday, she sings beautiful. Oh, yes, it was my birthday, thank you. My birthday was actually last Tuesday, so we're actually more than a week. We're a week and 2 days since my birthday, so it's not like it was just, my birthday was on Tuesday, we already had stuff going on, so we did that. And then my wife wanted to throw me like a party. And so often for my parties, I have Franklin play. So that was Franklin on the guitar, the guy playing the guitar, at my birthday party. And we held it at Desperados, which is cool because I ran into maybe 6 or 8 people from the community who just happened to be at Desperados. And it just happened to be on my birthday. Some people are like, I feel like we're crashing someone's birthday party. I'm like, it's cool, it's mine. And they're like, wait, what? We're at Scott's birthday party? I'm like, you are. So it's pretty funny. But that is Brenda. I actually don't know her last name off the top of my head. But Brenda was in the white singing. And yeah, she's really good. That was a great show. They are at Desperados. Franklin is there every other week or something. So you can catch them there pretty often. Of course, check Nicaragua for the events. They're pretty good about putting those up. And then she's there sometimes. She's definitely not there every other week. He's there sometimes with other singers. He sings with Erica Cortez quite often. Sometimes he sings on his own. He had Yaromir on the drums this week, so he shakes it up a bit. A lot of people looking at different property stuff today. Oh, I've got to find it. So anyway, we have a Toyota Corolla that we'd really like to get 10K for in case anyone is interested. Brian says, what I'm most excited to see when I get to Leon is the tortoises in my courtyard. I just love seeing them as a child. I have no idea how they appeared there. That's wild. I don't know anything about that, but let's film some tortoises in the courtyard for sure. Patricia says, I joined the WhatsApp group, but I don't see any of the old messages. No, you can't go back. You see, I've been telling people to join. Either I don't know how to use WhatsApp or everyone preemptively blocked me. Probably not the worst idea. No, the threads only show... Now I just found out that the person making the threats today sent messages to one of the people, and I don't know about these messages. I don't know what's in them. It's like everybody's got a different piece of information. It's crazy. No, Patricia, anything you only see up until when you join, it's for people's privacy. Like, you can't control it. It's just how WhatsApp works. Once you join a group, everything starts fresh. Davo says, if you had a child with a Nicaraguan local, would you want them to live a Western lifestyle, become a Central American who speaks enough English to communicate with you, or develop a hybrid identity? Sorry, I just read Brian's note. I know a lot of places that can sell it for you. He's talking about my Toyota. But Brian, it's a Toyota. Do you know any Toyota dealers? That's the question. Davo, if you had a child. That's a good question. I mean, so I have children without a Nicaraguan spouse, right? My wife is quite Italian. And we, one of the reasons that we live abroad is because we wanted our children to, as much as possible, grow up in a hybrid identity. And so ours is actually a triple hybrid, more or less, American, Italian. Although my wife she grew up in the United States, but from a very Italian family with a lot of Italian heritage. And so part of that was we spent some of our children's childhood living in Italy, and we wanted them to be exposed to Italian and exposed to Italian culture and a bit of Italian lifestyle. And we wanted them to have a bit of world culture. And for us, kind of the blend of things that make sense for us is Latin culture. And so we really looked around for what places were best for us, just had the right mix. And for us, obviously, it ended up being Nicaragua, but a lot of Latin America would have things that would be really good for us. And so we really want a hybrid. We don't want to give up anyone's culture. We don't want to be like, oh, that culture is no good. No, cultures are cultures, right? Some are better for you economically. Some are better for you for stress reduction or whatever. And having a hybrid really lets you, one, navigate a bunch of things. Like I grew up almost in a Swiss enclave, but speaking English, obviously, and grew up in an area where it's very easy for me to navigate farm and very rural life and navigating urban life. And I can move throughout different parts of society very easily. And I want my children to have the same kind of thing. I want them to have enough of different cultures that they can, one, pick and choose the things that are good and healthy and happy for them, but also that they can move between them or choose between them in the future and have flexibility that I do have as well, but they hopefully will have better than me, right? I want them to really have an opportunity to, as adults, look at what's good for them and be able to very easily say, oh, we're so Italian, we just want to be in Italy, which I don't think is going to happen. Or we're so American, we're going to move back to the US. Really don't think that's going to happen. Or we want to be somewhere in Latin America, maybe Nicaragua, maybe not, and be able to navigate differences between those cultures and so forth. If I had children who were actually Nicaraguan dual citizens with American like I am, then I would definitely want them to have a hybrid identity, most likely leaning very heavily towards Nicaraguan, but with definitely enough North American that they would be comfortable navigating in and out of that, and definitely having the option of working in that. And I think that those hybrids in general give you a lot of really amazing options. But there's also something to be said about just being steeped in one culture and being completely native as well. Like there's clearly benefits to that. But I think having a really strong hybrid lifestyle is so unique, so hard to obtain that you don't want to not leverage that when you have the opportunity, whatever hybrid it is, right? If you're French and South African, you want to leverage those things. You really do. Janet says, Patricia, I think what happened is that a few of the messages were deleted, probably by the sender. If you read backwards, Janet, she can't read backwards. There's no backwards at all. When you join, it's 100% blank before you join. Do you have any information about the Corn Islands? This is at Kenneth 59. I mean, what would you like to know? We had someone there just the other day. We can probably tell you quite a bit about it. It comes up about every week that people want to know some stuff about it. I have not been. I hope to get out there and film sometime soon. Brian and I are actually talking about going out there, but I don't think we are. But we might. It's at least in the realm of possibility in the coming weeks. And but I mean, they're super cool. If you have the time and you like Caribbean lifestyle, then definitely get out there and check them out. Let's see. Ship to Houston. Dynamic Joey. I've watched many of your videos and your live came up in my timeline. Well, awesome. Well, welcome. Normally we start much earlier than this. We are very late this week, but we have a good number of people on, so that's fantastic. And it's a little bit different every week, and it goes on for a while. But it's a lot of fun. I think we have a really good time here. Jose Madriz Centeno. Hi, Scott. Great content as always. Vivan las Doñas. No, it's Victoria this week. It's a Victoria-themed week. Thank you. Dynamic Joey says, now that I'm here, I'd like to network some with local investors who can possibly help grow a couple of projects I have. Okay. So you already have projects that are here in Nicaragua, or you have projects you would like to bring to Nicaragua? What kind of You often don't find much in the way of local investors. You might, they exist, obviously, but typically you look for foreign investors to invest into Nicaragua, just because if Nicaragua had more investment money, they'd be creating jobs with it in most cases. So I mean, it exists for sure, but it tends to be lean. Those of us who have investment dollars for Nicaragua have often already put it into play in the economy, and so may not have a ton to put into other projects. Whereas people coming from U.S., Canada, or whatever, will quite often have some disposable income and be like, where can I find a place to make a difference with this? But depends on what your project is. You may find some people anywhere. I'm still getting so many messages. It is crazy. Trying to keep up with all the conversations. Larry is, hold on. Are you there right now? So if anyone is looking for Larry, who is normally on the live stream, he is over at Twins Restaurant right now. You can make it over and hang out with Larry, but you should be on the show. Unless you have the show on your phone, then head on over there. But if nothing else, save your excitement for tomorrow. So Brian asked me privately, but there's no reason that this needs to be private. He's asking if taking the American Airlines flight between DFW and Tampico, Mexico would be worth a layover. I've not been to Tampico, but let's take a look. What is there to do in Tampico? Where is Tampico? Why is it so slow to load? That is, oh, no, yeah. No, Tampico would probably be pretty interesting, Brian. I would think that would be pretty cool. So that's, what's the nearest city to kind of give people, it's north of Veracruz by a lot. It's kind of east of León or Aguas Calientes, over on the Gulf of Mexico coast. Looks like a cool area. I'm only a little bit familiar with Tampico. I know I've looked at it previously as a place to potentially live. I had no idea that American would do a layover there. That's pretty wild. No, that's probably a cool town. Give it a couple days for sure. Walk around, eat some food. Bet they've got good tacos. Mexico's always good. As long as you're avoiding like the Cancuns and that kind of stuff. Mexico is just so full of really great stuff. Oh, Tampico is directly east of San Luis Potosí. That is where it is. Dynamic Joey says, I'm a real estate wholesaler doing business in the USA. Chris says, hi. Butta says, being a triple hybrid myself, I find that acclimation into different cultures very organic. Yeah, that's the nice thing. Once you have a certain amount, it's really easy to be like, I can just go anywhere, do anything, and feel really natural. It works well. Like that's... Desert Sunset, want to buy my house dynamic in AZ. Jose says, what opportunities do you think Nicaragua could come across in the current commercial war between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S.? There's not a ton. It's tough. Well, before we get into that, Dale is here. He says, hola, Scott, and hola, all. Hola a todos. Jose, I don't know. So the obvious potential opportunities, one is to just shift anything that they can over to China, but they're already doing that. So, exporting eggs to the USA might be a way to go. So currently, we don't have big tariffs on us here in Nicaragua. So if you ship directly from Nicaragua to the US, which you can do, it's actually not bad. Like, we're way cheaper than Mexico. So for the moment, right, you could manufacture here in Nicaragua nearly anything. Anything that Canada or Mexico is traditionally, or to some degree China, traditionally making could pass through Nicaragua and make it up to the United States. The biggest problem is that you do that in any amount, and it's just the law of nature. The U.S. will put a tariff on Nicaragua, and it'll all be over, and it'll be for naught. Which is quite dangerous because lots of investment. Of course, you want to make sure that you have some chance of getting your investment dollars back. And so, there's so much risk of investing for a momentary tariff situation or whatever. Just like the people, who are constantly investing in the US and being like, okay, there's going to be a tariff on Canada, or there's going to be a tariff on China. Let's go to Mexico, right? Mexico's safe. And so they invest all their money in Mexico because of the tariffs and then realize that Mexico is now under tariff and that didn't work out so well. So it's if it's something you can do quickly and you have the resources and like everything in place to do it today, then there's some potential. Historically, a lot of shipments from Nicaragua to the U.S. go through Mexico, which would create a problem. But we do have the Port of Corinto and the Port of Cabeza that can go directly to the United States. They're low volume, Corinto being relatively high, and Cabeza being quite low. You would be able to, I have to go get the dog, I'll keep talking. You'd be able to do some shipments, and doing manufacturing or something similar in Nicaragua would be hyper beneficial, because you have the ability to leverage really low-cost labor, but you do have a labor pool that is not very used to factory work. So you have a tendency towards having a high training cost, high employee acquisition cost, more or less, but really good retention and really good ability to a really low cost in general. Wow, we have 51 people on. Sorry, so many messages coming in. It is absolutely mind-boggling. Yes, Janet, you are correct. The entire thing was about a real estate transaction date. The whole thing came down to there being a date that everyone... What are your thoughts on BRICS? Do you think it will overtake the USD? So currently, BRICS and USD are very different things. USD is a currency. BRICS is an economic bloc. So there's really no relationship between them. The US is a bloc. The EU is a bloc. The US and EU together are kind of like a bloc. Right, BRICS is an interesting bloc that has a lot of potential, right? It has a lot of opportunity for a lot of, economic growth, a lot of economic development, a lot of direct trade. BRICS is good in a lot of ways. I think in reality, it's not an interesting topic, right? I think it's important. I'm glad they have BRICS. Nicaragua wants to join. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like the North Atlantic Free Trade Agreement. It's an agreement between countries to do trade and some economic development between themselves. A lot of people on the outside are, as Americans are, addicted to the idea that there will be a currency associated with it. South Africa has been extremely adamant that that is not the case. There is some little talk... there's been a little bit of talk of some behind-the-scenes communications with having some reclamation currencies being used through BRICS, but as a competition to the USD, it's not in the cards, right? Could it someday? Sure, but there's a lot of everyone's got their pet currency that's going to overtake USD. And is USD going to remain the main currency for centuries? No, it's not going to. Is it interesting that it's going to switch? No, it's hard to imagine why people. So this is my biggest thing: is it's amazing that people care. Because what mechanism is used there is so trivial. The only thing that's kind of interesting is, will it allow certain economies to break the American stranglehold on the SWIFT system? Sure, they've already got mechanisms that if they really cared, they could do that. But are people going to be using some BRICS currency instead of USD for shopping? No chance. I don't see that as, no country is proposing that. No one in actual economic positions is talking about it. I don't see why it's interesting. All those countries have their own currencies. They have them for a reason. Creating a new shared currency between them for day-to-day transactions, super boring and not good. Wouldn't be good for the individual economies because it doesn't allow them to float and deal with stuff. There's just no good utility to it that I can think of, but huge risks and costs that don't need to be there because they all have very functional currencies today. So the thing that makes BRICS powerful is that they can trade with each other, right? Individual states in the United States, they don't do incredibly well because they share a currency. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's not their power. The powerhouse of the American state's economy is that they have free trade with each state and free movement between it and free shipping and all that stuff. It's completely open. Essentially, anytime you hear someone talk about a currency and they're not like, okay, this is the most boring thing in the world, but so-and-so has a new currency or this currency has become a little bit more important. Unless that is how they're approaching it, it's a scam. Every time. It just is. Somebody is trying to get a rise out of you. Someone doesn't know what a currency does. Someone is reading, fringe news and hoping that, who knows? Because people don't understand currency. This is one of the most common conversations we have here. In general, currency is not well understood. And so currency makes for a topic in which it is possibly the easiest place to run scams. And you're not really running scams with the currency itself. It's that it's so easy to create a situation where someone is either investing or fearful and reacting or panicking because of a nonsensical statement about currencies, or even a very sensible statement about currencies. You could say something like the US dollar is no longer going to be the world's primary currency, which is not true, but at some point it will become true, right? And people will just panic. But no one ever asks the question, who cares? What if it is not the world's primary currency? Does it matter? No, not a lot, right? It's very, very trivial. As far as anything, like who cares that the US dollar is the biggest currency? Like strength of a currency, that matters when you're going on vacation. If you're an importer, exporter, that stuff matters. But for normal people, just boring. Like people associate so many things with it that aren't really connected. Where can I find more information on shipping from Pacific Nicaragua to USA? Info on regulations, controls of Nicaragua. First of all, almost no one ships from the Pacific side because the distance is something like 400% from Pacific to US than it is from Puerto Cabeza to the US. So almost all shipments to the US go through the Caribbean. I honestly don't know. You have to talk to big logistics firms. I don't know anyone who's ever shipped from Nicaragua to the U.S. at all, large scale, small scale, Pacific or Caribbean. It's good luck, but useful, right? That's what you need to know. In order to do a factory export business or something, right? So definitely it's interesting, but I have no idea where you would find that. And normally, if you're doing like real shipping, you're gonna have to talk to Hapag-Lloyd. You're gonna have to talk to Maersk. Like those are the people who come into the port. That's just because it's Nicaragua doesn't change those basics, I think, in most cases. Janet says, well, that's all we need to know. Thanks, Scott. And now next class. Renee says, so such as a lot in Las Bonitas, how much would simple small septic run? Can a small pool be installed for 5K? I think you can put it in a small pool for 5K, maybe just a tad more. Is thatch hut type stilt home doable? That would be incredibly foolish. That is how you burn to death. Never live under thatch. Eat dinner under thatch where it's high up and you can easily get out, but never ever sleep under thatch. Anything that we have under thatch, we are removing. We have never put in new thatch. All the businesses basically that know, because the Nile went up and nearly lost a lot of people because thatching is so dangerous on a beach where there's open fires all the time, trash burning, there's beach bonfires, there's smoking. We've had our neighbors' places catch on fire because someone smoked and just, ashed over the balcony and it caught the dry leaves. So dangerous. Don't consider it. Do tile roofs. That'll be the way to go. Septic, I'm not an expert on septic, which is ridiculous because I have a septic being dug right now, but I think we're paying like 10, 15,000, but ours is huge, right? Like obviously it's not much more than a normal house. I would expect that a few thousand would get you into a small septic. Jose says, thanks for your bright answer. Do you think if things get worse with the U.S., Nicaragua could have any chance to turn Canada into its most important destination for exportations? Yeah, I'm sure. But you really have to think about the distance, right? That if you're shipping to the U.S. and you're shipping, for example, Puerto Cabeza to Miami, I think you're looking at like 800 miles. Maybe it's 800 kilometers. Whatever it is, if you're going to ship to the nearest port of Canada, you're looking at taking that 800 up by 5, 6, 7, 10 times just to get to the nearest port. So the cost of shipping will go up by orders of magnitude, or an order of magnitude, I guess. And that's going to be a lot, right? So instead of shipping in 3 days for $100, it's 2 weeks for $1,000 kind of thing for an item, and that's going to make it much harder. So if you're shipping non-perishable manufactured goods, doable. If you are trying to do foodstuffs, it's going to be really, really hard. And so, Nicaragua and Canada are just really far from each other. Like it's a difficult distance. So it's possible, but I think it's going to be really hard. Dale says, yeah, the talk about a comprehensive currency for BRICS has died down in the last few months. Several of the countries in that bloc are already trading in local currencies to bypass trading in USD. Yeah, and that's the comprehensive currency for BRICS isn't a spending currency, right? It's the behind the scenes rectification currency, the one used for propagating money between the countries, not used in the countries. So as normal people, it's completely irrelevant for all intents and purposes, right? If you're BRICS, right? For those who don't know, BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and their associated sphere of influence at this point, so it's called BRICS Plus sometimes, refers to a number of countries that are part of the BRICS Treaty, which is similar to the NAFTA, but it is global and much, much larger. And they each have their own currencies, many of which are really big, right? The Brazilian real, the Chinese yuan, the Russian ruble. These are big world currencies, right? So they have no interest, and they couldn't possibly have any interest in having a shared currency for, buying street barbecue. That is not something they're interested in. It's not going to happen. What they traditionally have used to trade things between them is the US dollar, because it's the one thing that they all use, because they're not near to each other, so they don't have a common currency behind the scenes in most cases. However, they can use their own local currencies to do that. They don't need the US dollar, but the US dollar makes it handy. So understandably, they use it. Okay. The proposal, in theory, is that they're looking at making their own alternative to the US dollar for that purpose and not for use by their people. Okay, that seems pretty silly. What exact benefit would that bring, right? Because it's just a trading currency. It doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't change how people shop. Then you could also say, well, why don't they use Bitcoin? Because that would work today. Or why don't they use whatever it is, XRP? Because that would work today. Why don't they use Ethereum? Because that would work today. And they can. All those things will work. Some are better than others, I understand. All of them will work, and people aren't using them because why? What's the benefit? Who cares, right? And that's kind of where it falls. Why not use the US dollar? It doesn't really help the US any. The US doesn't make money by doing that. So, yeah, well, I don't see it changing except for them being like, oh, let's just use Chinese yuan for all this because we already have it. Wilbur Peach is here. Hola. E says, thanks, Scott. Yes, I was thinking food manufacturing, plantain chips. Yeah, that stuff, very doable. The thing to Canada is just the time and the money. It would get expensive, but it could be done. Wilbur Peach says, can you flush toilet paper in Nicaragua? No. that's about all you need to know. No, it sucks. Patricia says, thatched roofs look so cool, though. They do. They really do. We love them. They also get a lot of bugs, but they also hide a lot of geckos, so that's good. But then geckos poop on you. That's bad. Dynamic Joey, thanks for your feedback. But at one time, crypto was considered a scam and now relevant. Well, that makes bricks different. No, it doesn't make bricks different. Crypto was and the thing with crypto is crypto was never actually considered a scam. The push of crypto has always been a scam. The actual crypto has not been a scam. Bricks doesn't have a currency. Right, and so promoting it is a scam, right? Meaning, if Bitcoin was talked about, but no one ever actually made it, right? The difference with Bitcoin is that they made it and then they talked about it. So they had a thing, and they're like, this is cool. And some people said, no, it's not, that's a scam. Okay, but you could kind of hold it and make your own decision. Some people immediately were like, that's cool. It's just an alternative currency, which we've always had. And that's not a scam. Maybe it's good or bad, but it's just another currency, right? So Bitcoin is very different. The thing with BRICS is that it isn't a thing. It's not even a proposed thing. It's not like we're about to have this and it will be cool. It's no one's actually serious about making it, which is not very cool or interesting or anything. So, if they do it, and the real thing though, is like Bitcoin. Now, if BRICS did put in a currency, and everyone would talk about it for a bit and be like, whoa, the world is changing. And then at the end of the day, you'd have a small group of people who kept talking about it, trying to, convince people of something. And then you'd have another group of people that are like, so they put that in, and who is aware of it? Like, it affects nothing, much like Bitcoin, right? Who's out buying stuff with Bitcoin? Nobody? Oh. And then because it failed so hard, right, people have come up with this cover story for Bitcoin of calling it a wealth store, which, of course, it can't be. It's a currency. By definition, a currency can't be a wealth store. So the thought process around Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin, not crypto in general, it was that it was this big thing. It was so big. And then they realized this is dumb. Right, it has a really high cost to use. It's really complicated. Nobody accepts it. Nobody uses it, and so it's not a scam. It just ended up being a bad idea, right? Will other cryptocurrencies overtake it and actually be a good idea? Probably, right? That almost goes without saying. But Bitcoin specifically itself, not the concept of Bitcoin, but actual Bitcoin, turned out to, in execution, be completely real and not a scam, but not very useful or interesting at the end of the day. It's kind of interesting in that it broke open a new market. BRICS won't be doing that. BRICS will be doing the same old thing that's been there for thousands of years and just another one of it. It could be a Spanish real for all we cared, whatever. But it says, ouch, I just finished my thatch on my rancho. Sorry, Buddhist. Chris says, I love thatch. We all love how it looks and how cheap it is. Robert Caballero, are drones allowed? I do real estate marketing videos and want to work in Nicaragua. No, drones are not allowed. They have not been allowed. drones are so not allowed that they just doubled down, and additionally to the you can't bring them in rules, they added the you cannot possess them or be caught with them rules. So it used to be that if you managed to have one, you'd be okay when you were leaving the country. But now if you get caught leaving the country with it, you will not be leaving the country, if you know what I mean. They are quite a crime at this point. We thought they might move towards being allowed. That was a possibility. They did not. They moved towards doubling down on not allowing them, much as the U.S. is debating not allowing them in the future. So I think a lot of places are kind of like, ooh, they are complicated. Maybe we should just not allow them, which I think is a wrong decision, but it's not my place. But here, definitely, they are not. Dynamic Joey says, Caballero, they are not. I recently watched a YouTube video where a vacationer was questioned and avoided getting jailed. The drone was confiscated but returned as they left the country. They got really lucky. They have zero obligation to return it to you when you leave the country. That is, they are allowed to do it. Super, super not guaranteed, right? I have never heard of someone getting one back that gets confiscated. And if you do make it in, drive over it and pretend you never had it. Like, you do not want to be caught with it here. Jose says, thanks again, Scott. Last question for today. Ron Plata or Ron Florida Cana? Yeah, I'm a Florida Cana drinker for sure. I'll drink Ron Plata when I'm with the drunks in the storm drain getting wasted in the afternoon, which I'm totally down for. I need to do some videos of that stuff because I don't think people believe me that you just pass around a bottle drinking straight out of the plastic bottle of, gut rot rum. That's what you do. And Wilbur says, what do they do with toilet paper then? Good question. So this is unpleasant, but okay. So first of all, reality. A lot of people flush a little bit of toilet paper. I'm not saying you should. A lot of people do. Not all of it, for sure. Just a tiny bit to ease the problem. But there is, beside every toilet in the country, there is a trash can, and that is where it goes. That is also one of the reasons why wipes are really popular in the country, because in, say, the United States, for example, wipes generally present challenges to the septic systems, but here, because you're not flushing them, they don't. So people get the cheaper, hardier baby wipes everywhere. Like, this is a cultural thing, completely different than the US. Everybody has unflushable baby wipes along with toilet paper, so you use much less toilet paper and you use the baby wipes, and it all just goes into a trash can. And this is not unique to Nicaragua. This is the same as Costa Rica. This is the same as Greece. This is the same as Spain. This is the same as Italy. This is the same as Turkey. This is the same as much of Mexico, same as Honduras, same as parts of Panama, and so forth. Very large parts of the world do not flush toilet paper. I've actually seen maps. At some point on the show, we have done a map for people to get an idea of where it is. So Nicaragua is just part of a zone where people generally don't flush toilet paper. And there's always someone who does. And what people will say is, I flushed and it worked, because they're ignoring. That is someone tricking you, right? That's a scam. Is it a scam? Yep. For those of you who know the comedian, Alex Falcone. The thing is that the reason you can't flush toilet paper is because of what it does to the septic system, not what it does to the toilet. Nobody ever should think that somehow, by not being inside the United States, that ceramic toilets can't flush toilet paper. That would be quite literally insane. Obviously, no one can actually make the argument that they thought about it and thought that that's what someone meant. What they mean is that you're not supposed to do it. Just like, can I go around the street and hit people with a baseball bat? No, it's completely illegal. No, I tried it. I walked around the street and I whacked people with a baseball bat. Okay, we all understood that the question was, are you allowed to, not can you physically do it? So, yeah, it is. You're not supposed to flush toilet paper. The systems are not built for it. There are exceptions. You go to the Hilton Princesa, they do not put trash containers next to the toilet. They have their own grinder, their own septic, and they deal with it themselves. KL7RRC. Scott, reasons BRIC may use own currency is going out from U.S. control of USD assets. You can trade in USD, but assets may arbitrarily confiscated. Why induce risk? You can't really confiscate USD. Not really. How would they do that? right? If you're trading through the United States to do so, sure. But the issue there is trading through the United States, not in USD. You could trade in a BRICS currency. If it passes through the US, they'll seize it if they want. If you're USD, they'll seize it if you want. The problem is if they just start seizing USD, that creates a destabilization of the US dollar. So unlikely to do it. But that risk doesn't really exist. That is one of the things. People come up with these, like, somehow the US like can magically pull US dollars in and out of the universe. It doesn't really work that way. Because what we're talking about is, ships full of dollars going places at some point. Rene says, how do you get around to find a rental? I don't really know anyone who rents a car. Renting is very, very uncommon. It gets done, every so often we talk to someone who does it. It's generally a little bit expensive. It's so cheap to hire a driver that's much more likely what you need to do. But how do you get around to find a rental? Well, normally you fly in and get them at the airport. Otherwise, you're almost always crossing at Piñas Blancas from Costa Rica. Both of those cases, they they rent them right there. They also rent them in San Juan del Sur, and they rent them in the Hilton. Doubletree, for example, has a rental office inside of it. There's a few places around Managua where you can rent them. So it is really hard to get into Nicaragua without having the option to rent a car as you enter the country. If you enter the country and go do a bunch of things, then finding a rental place can be a little bit tricky, other than going back to the airport or whatever, or going to your hotel. But normally you just do it as you come in. Very simple, tiny country, not a big deal. Patricia says, yes, I saw the same video about the drone. They got caught red-handed flying the drone. My gosh. Yeah, we all saw it. And we're like, they were talking about it a bit on the expats group, and everyone's like, did they seriously do no research, know nothing about Nicaragua? Like, everybody talks about how there's no drones allowed, and it's been in the news in the last few weeks because they just put in new laws in like November, I think, about it. Like, yeah. When was the last time it rained in Nicaragua? This is 110 Cupcakes. It's been about 3 weeks, I would say. It's not been super long. We're in the dry season, but it rained well into the dry season. We had a lot of rain, and we're all like, this is a lot of rain. Mary W., I learned so much from your videos and live chats. Who knew wipes was a thing? Wipes are a thing. Yeah, I mean, I know people that use wipes in the States. Obviously, like, everyone knows somebody, and it's one of those things, like, as you get older, especially old guys are kind of like, hey, here's one of those secrets to life that you may not have learned. All these young whippersnappers, they don't know the value of wipes. It's funny because I'm an old guy, and I totally say that, but it's true. Once I started being like in the group of like the 50-somethings and older, hanging out at things, it's, people talk about different things. When you're young, you're all like, where's the good party tonight? Where are the girls gonna be at, right? And then when you're getting up towards 50, you're totally like, is this trip gonna go so long between bathroom stops? And does anybody have any of those nice flushable wipes that I can take with me, right? And it's like, it's a thing. Everyone is kind of like, we don't talk about this around the ladies, but we all keep wipes in the trunk just in case you need to make a stop. Why not be extra fresh and comfortable, right? Like, it's just one of those things. Like, own it, And same thing. Much of the world, if you're traveling, my kids have learned to do this. They do it everywhere. Like, always have a backpack, have a couple supplies, and one of those supplies that you always keep in your backpack, roll of toilet paper and wipes, of course, right? It's like, you know what? You end up in a situation, there's no running water. You got wipes. You can clean your hands. You can clean the dashboard of your car. You spill something on it. You're going to be really glad you had those wipes. They're multi-purpose, right? Don't get the, like, lubricating ones. Not lubricating. That's not what I meant. Lotioning ones, right? Don't get that. Like, get just normal wipes. They have, like, a tiny bit of alcohol or astringent agent or something, witch hazel, I don't know. And they're great. You got to clean up a spill. Who knows, right? You run out of toilet paper. You've got those. Run out of those. You got toilet paper. These are things you don't want to be without in life. It's time we all stop being embarrassed by being clean. Not every bathroom stop is going to have a bidet, so be prepared. Renee says, how do you hire a driver? Typically, you just talk to your hotel until you've been here and get to know people. You may not get the best deal, the best driver, but you'll get someone safe that they trust. So that's generally what you do. Dynamic says, Patricia, I was about to share this video link, but didn't want Scott to lose viewers on the live. Thanks for confirming. I hope he's talking about the drone and not a video about wipes. What kind of videos do you have? It won't let you share the link, but I think everyone knows that video. It was really big this week, and everyone was talking about it. So I'm reading. Rob posted on the Expats group, "OMG, I'm dying here listening to you talk about Wipe Scott." It's excellent content here on the Scott Allen Miller Live show. Renee says, say I'm in Leon and want to go look at a rental house and so on. Okay, makes sense. There's people with cars that'll drive you around. Absolutely. So first of all, if you're in Leon, almost always you're going to be looking at a house in Leon, right? The metro area of Leon is about 300,000 people, with almost all the houses, like quite literally, being right in the city limits or directly touching them. The number of houses, like if you want to go look at a house that's not inside the city, I mean, good luck finding that house, right? There's so few, because Leon is like Berlin. Not really, but it's a dense city that immediately goes to fields. That's it. There's nothing out there, just empty outside the city. On the main road, sure, but that's like it. You're really, really empty out there. And so if you're looking in Leon, you're just gonna hire a taxi. Just go to the corner and wave down a taxi. It'll be like $4 to go somewhere, right? Very, very easy. You can also use InDrive if you really need to. It's really not hard. If you're going farther afield, let's say you're in Leon and you need to go to, say, Salinas Grande, or let's go really far, El Transito, which is a ridiculous drive. You're looking at like an hour or more, potentially. You could take a taxi still. It's only going to cost so much. And basically, I mean, all the people who are drivers are just taxi drivers who turn off their taxi lights and take day rates or whatever. So that's my driver here is a taxi driver by day. And when I need him for a day, he's like, yeah, great deal, because I get one person for the entire day. And I'll drop, whatever, $80 to have a driver for the day. And then he drives me around and I just pay for the gas. So if that's what you need, a whole bunch of driving, having a driver for the day makes sense. But if you're just going to go to a location, even relatively far, maybe not El Transito, a taxi is going to be your best bet as long as you can get a taxi at the other end. Hiring a driver is just going to be impractical in general. Now, you could talk to your taxi driver and be like, hey, you're a cool guy. I need you for half a day. I'm going to go to Salinas Grandes, then I'm going to go to El Transito. I'm going to do this big thing of driving. Let's work something out. And he might be like, okay, you know what? Today's a slow day. $30 and you pay for my gas, right? That might be it. And you're like, okay, and I'll have you home by 2. Cool. Just make a deal, and that'll be probably your best price and most flexible, right? So that would be my approach in most cases. Sorry for the dog barking. That dog's outside. This is my life. The dog's barking. We may sell the car tonight. Who knows? So if you guys want to get the car, make me an offer real fast. And you need to pay cash. I got someone showing up with cash. Video link. Raging Gun is here. Hi, friends. Raging Gun also says, yeah, Leon sounds nice. Planning for October. Not another winter in Canada. No way. Dynamic Joey says, Mary, for real, though, I learned something and we'll be buying a pack next time I'm at Walmart. See, I'm here to help, guys. Like, this is more than travel. This is just general life lessons that have been learned from, sometimes the old guy club knows some things. It's your priorities change. And that was the problem on the WhatsApp group this week. We had a couple of youngsters who were in there and just didn't want to learn from the old guys. And like the whole community is like, guys, you need to chill. You need to listen to anybody but yourselves. And they couldn't. It was a week. It was a week of stuff. Hey, before I forget to mention a couple things. One, we're going to re-mention the tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the afternoon-ish, in the Leon main square. And so in front of El Sesteo, in front of the cathedral. Head out there. We're going to be doing a show on empanadas, so come out and help raise money for Russell, the empanada girl. She will make you delicious Colombian-style empanadas on the square. It's a nice treat. These are the ones I often order for my children that get delivered while I'm doing the live stream or while I'm out. And she does a pretty good empanada. I don't know what style she will have tomorrow, but normally she has a couple different flavors, a couple different meat choices for that. So come out, you can meet her. She's a good contact to have. Everyone needs an empanada girl, right? And she does delivery, but so you get into her WhatsApp list and she'll let you know when she's doing empanadas that day and either where she is or she can send them to you. So a good thing to do, but it'll be fun for everybody to get together, get on the show or whatever. So that's about 2:00 in the afternoon, nice and hot. So definitely come out and join us. 2 is La Marcelita, my producer, who has stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma. Thank you so much to everyone who has been helping to raise funds for her. It has made such a huge difference and gives her a lot of faith and hope about the direction that is going, because her treatments seem to be going well. We do not have feedback yet. That's going to be 4 to 5 weeks. We are, because this is Nicaragua, she does get all of her oncology treatments are taken care of by the government, but there's a million other costs that are not. We're putting the GoFundMe link in the show. So she does have 2 kids. She's a single mom. She's 37, and there's a lot of having her kids taken care of, because she's only viable to take care of her kids maybe 4 to 5 days out of every fortnight. She needs help cleaning her house. She needs help with, she has a ton of transit. She has to do all of her oncology in Managua. Her kids have to go to school in Managua because of who's taking care of them when she's not available. But she lives here in Leon, so there's a lot of back and forth. There's just a lot. So we're trying to raise a complete total of $5,000. We have already raised $2,810. Thank you so much. And so it's really to get her through for 2 years, right? So this is not she needs $5,000 to get through tomorrow. This is not a single bill that she has to pay. This is that every month she just has a lot of additional expenses. And so it's really right around $200 per month that we're trying to raise, so that she has that extra comfort to help pay for a maid to clean her house a few times, for bus trips back and forth for her kids, school books and stuff. Like, they had to change school and stuff during that. So I put the GoFundMe link in there for those who want to participate with that, of course. Wilbur Peach says, what else does she have to offer, or is it just empanadas? Just empanadas. She has a little cart. Normally she does this from home, and she has been on the show briefly at different times. But it's like a little tiny street food. We're doing street food empanadas, right? So this should be pretty cool. I think it'll be neat. Something's going on with Dynamic Joey. I think he was just really excited about wipes. I don't know. Luke says, hola, back from El Patio by Woods in Matagalpa. Band did an hour warm-up, performed one song, went on break to eat. I've totally seen that happen before. It's ridiculous. I think it's actually that they're prepping and they start early or something, because it's not time for a band yet. So they're probably just getting ready and played a song to practice kind of thing. I don't like the practicing on stage thing. It's pretty weird. Luke, so I was at El Patio by Woods. This is actually years ago, but there's a picture of my wife sitting at El Patio, and because we were there with the kids in Matagalpa, I want to say 2022, and at the Corn Festival, and the kids didn't feel like going out, as they often don't. And so they were like, we just want to stay in the hotel. We had a comfy hotel. We're like, cool. They're old enough to stay in a hotel. They've been staying in a hotel since 2016. Their first time ever being left alone was in Petrovas, Montenegro, on the boardwalk, while my wife and I went to the pub and got a drink and had our cell phones and everything. And then they had each other, and it was very close. But that was the first time we ever left them alone. That was 9 years ago, right? They're good. So we leave them, and they're just like, we're good. We got our iPads. We're going to nap. We're going to play games, whatever. Go do your thing. We just want to stay. And so we went to El Patio by Woods, which is really nice. They have good food, good music, good vibes. It's a nice place. It's one of my favorite, bigger clubs outside of Managua. And really well known. And so the very next day we were back in Leon, and it had to be 2022 because I was in La Barrio, and I was down on 5th. So I wasn't in front of my house. I was just walking on the street, and some woman was out there with a flat tire, pulled over on the side of the road. So I just stopped by while I was filming. I was like, are you okay? Everything good? And she's like, yeah, I just got a flat tire. My husband went to get another tire. I'm just staying with the car. And it was a safe area. There was no reason to be concerned, but I didn't want her to be stranded or something. And then she looked at me and she's like, oh, I saw you yesterday. You were at El Patio by Woods with your wife in Matagalpa, right? And I'm like, what? Like, I got recognized in the window. She's like, I didn't even go in. She was walking down the sidewalk and noticed my wife and I and remembered me and knew me the next day in Leon. Like, that was crazy. Renee says, are university classes available? If so, are they free? So definitely university classes are available. Often they are free to Nicaraguans. If you're not Nicaraguan, I don't know if you'd be able to take a free class. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you would do. If La Marcelita gets on, she will almost certainly be able to tell us. She attended University of Central America and has done a lot with private schools and stuff, so she has a lot of education knowledge here. If anybody wonders what I'm playing with on my desk, I have a 50 millimeter Nikon lens that I'm just like fiddling with and don't even realize I'm doing it. Leo is here. Also, you often mention finding info like WhatsApp expat groups. On my computer, only thing below you is comments. What am I missing? Below me is comments. Well, let me give you the WhatsApp group. And I have to put links in the discussion. It's the only place I can put it. Expats open. There it is. Let's get that invite. Members. All these little tiny gnats drive me nuts. There we go. Here is the link to the WhatsApp group. Raging Gun, I'm looking to become a resident. All right, awesome. A resident. Oh, a resident. Is there a question with that or just general information? I am a resident as well. I was looking for that, and it was successful. I also wanted to post. Okay, so that was the important thing. Empanadas tomorrow. And we got a new join just from that link just now. How awesome. And for those who, we did get a number of joins last week, so this is very cool. We have, for those who know, I mean, this is going to be a stupid thing to say. For those who know Twitter, did everyone know Twitter? Yeah. For those who know Twitter, there is an alternative. There's many alternatives, but the one that we promote here is two things. It's nicaloro.com. So if you have not signed up, please go check out nicaloro.com. Several of us are on there, and I've gone a long time without mentioning it, and I realize that I should have been mentioning it like every week. Like, it's a perfect topic to bring up for people because we have different people every week, and it's like, hey, here's a thing, and people are like, that's a thing, cool. So just go to that link, sign up, and what this is it's a Mastodon system. So Mastodon is the long-term competitor to Twitter. It's been around for forever. It had different names back in the day. I've been using it for, 22 years or so. So this was originally built to be, I think StatusNet was its original name, an alternative to all those things. And one of the things that's really cool about it is that it's decentralized. So there's a famous Mastodon system called mastodon.social. There's mstdn.com. There is the mstdn.es, the Spanish server. There's one of these is, masto.es is the Spanish, like Spain server. Mastodon.cr is the Costa Rica server. Nicaloro.com is the Nicaragua server. But if you're on Nicaloro, you can see posts and post to people on many other servers. So you don't have to pick one. Like with Twitter, if you're not on Twitter, no one on Twitter can see you, right? People on Facebook can't see stuff from Twitter. But if you're on Mastodon, any Mastodon instance in the world can see you and vice versa. So it's pretty cool. It's a technology specifically designed to protect the world from the capability of it becoming like Twitter. No one person can cause real control or anything. Leo, I did miss that. I'll get right to it. So Nicaloro is the one that we use. Now, if you are a Mastodon user and you're not on Nicaloro, then follow us on Nicaloro. So I am easy to find. I am Scott Allen Miller at nicaloro.com. So this link only works, that's my handle, if you already have a Mastodon account somewhere. If you don't, sign up on Nicaloro and then post your and we do, I should mention this, that Nicaloro is a controlled platform. We do not allow just anyone to sign up. because that's how you get spam and stuff, right? So it actually has to have an approval process. So it's one of the reasons we like to do it while on the show, because it gives us a chance for people to sign up and in real time get added immediately. So thanks, Dynamic Joey, for just signing up. Saw you go past the screen there. And then I can go look for him with my account. Hopefully I find him. There he is. Follow. Now he's being followed, and now I get updates from him. So it's also handy for that. But it's cool. Post pictures, that works really well. Post, status updates, follow people for news. But mostly we try to use it for Nicaragua stuff, right? Doesn't have to. It's an open Mastodon instance, but it's really kind of meant for people who are in or interested in Nicaragua or whatever. So the I don't know where I was going. Totally. I don't know. We like it. Oh, Nicaragua posts on there. So there's like the Nicaragua account. Just every day when a new concert is being announced, they show up there. So you could follow that instead of going to the website. Obviously, the website works better. But if you just like to see the latest things being announced, it's interesting, right? Like it's cool. So I think it's a really neat system. And a lot of people know Blue Sky. The thing about Blue Sky is it's copying the Twitter system and it keeps corporate control. There is no corporate control with Mastodon. There is individual instances which do have some control. So like mastodon.social, they have a bit of control for their systems, but you can just move to a different instance. And different instances have different rules, different capabilities and stuff, but they all share status. Raging Gun says, I don't like Elon Musk, so I don't use it. Yep, same. I don't like Elon or his dad or his family. Ditto. Leo says, you missed my first post up above. Do you still have the hotel and restaurant? Where and what names? I do. One is El Simple, aka the Simple Beach Lodge in Las Piñitas. That is a hostel with a couple rooms that are not really hostel-y rooms, so they're going to be on Airbnb in a week or so. But it is generally a hostel. It's a party hostel. Like you have to accept it is a hostile environment. It wasn't a hostel when we bought it, but there was a takeover. See how many people got the joke. But it is a hostel with dorm rooms, and a lot of backpackers stay there. And it's kind of a wild time. It is the host of Tuesday Booze Day, which is really big. And so it's a fun time. The restaurant, it's got a fantastic spot on the beach, very rustic, hence the term The Simple, right? It really is like, we like to think of it as Nicaragua's hostel. It is very Nicaraguan style. It is Nicaraguan food, but everything's at a very high quality and very welcoming to both Nicaraguans and foreigners. So it's a good place to mix. It's one of the biggest, busiest places on the Leon beaches. So definitely check that out. And then we have Desperados, which I've been talking about a bit more recently because that's often where I'm hanging out. That is more of high end. That is a Argentinian style steakhouse and draft house. So we have draft beer, we have tomahawks, we have New York strip, we have salmon, like it's like fancy. And that's where the pictures of Franklin and Brenda singing at my birthday party were from. So that is Desperados on the beach, and that is in a week or two, hopefully going to be opening its rooms. It is not a hostel, it is a boutique hotel, which will be on Airbnb on the beach, and that one has a small swimming pool as well. Very small, don't take the kids and like, we're gonna do laps. No, it's like we wanna hang out in the pool and have some drinks by our adult, private hotel getaway kind of place. And there is a little like table in the pool so you can have drinks in the pool. It's got an upstairs bar that's kind of rustic with views out over the ocean, and a big downstairs bar with draft beer, and cool place. All right. Oh, Chris says, I'm trying a new drink tonight because the country seems to be sold out of Pepsi Zero at the moment. It's called Del Monte Pear Nectar. Oh, yeah. I thought it was going to be like a cocktail or something. He has a can of this drink. Yep. Raging Gun says Pepsi is okay. Wilbur says, I thought we were not supposed to speak politics here. I don't think anyone is. Rob Sonator says, I look forward to trying new drinks or food in Nicaragua, planning to visit in December. Awesome. Rennie says, as a single expat living in Nicaragua on a moderate, independent on a moderate independent fashion, must be in a moderate independent fashion. Would you say that a decent, respectful person is such an individual be fairly marketable to local women? I mean, if we put you on like one of those spinning tables with like flashing lights, I think we could sell you off pretty easily. Maybe if we put en oferta on a sign, that means on sale on a sign. Yeah, I mean, so Nicaragua first of all, Nicaragua is just a super social country in general that includes dating and not dating. It's very social. So people go out and hang out and meet people all the time. Making friends, getting to know people are things that are very easy to do. You really don't have the barriers that a lot of different countries and cultures often have. Sorry for the sound of my dog drinking water, as she loves to do when I'm on anything with a microphone. And my wife is here for something, but she's not looking at me, so I'm not sure if it involves me that she needs something.
Lightning cable.
A lightning cable. I gave that to someone recently, and it did not come back to the best of my knowledge. I really think Marcela took it and put it somewhere. I think she took it because she took the phone. So I'm unaware of there being one, and I gave one to Liesel, I think, recently because she was having a problem. I don't have lightning devices anymore, so I'm a little bit useless. So from there goes the dog again. She drinks so much water. From a perspective of just going out, making friends, going to the bar, getting to meet people, easy, like super easy culture for that. So, and that leads to, so if the person you want to meet is then of the opposite sex, that also is much easier because there is that culture of going out and meeting people, just anybody. And then on top of that, Nicaragua also has a heavy dating culture, meaning in North America, even long ago, it was a very cool dating culture. So you go out of, you go to a bar, go to a restaurant, and you see anyone, right? This could be girls, could be guys. You want to meet someone of your dating pool. It's always like, ooh, can I go talk to them? Are they interested in a conversation? Like, you kind of get a vibe, but it's very hard. It's a high stress thing, and you don't just do it, right? You don't just do it all the time. Here in Nicaragua, the ability for anyone to just walk up and talk to someone is so high, and that includes the ability to to ask someone out, get their number, buy them a drink or whatever. Sorry, my computer over here is having significant issues, and I can't figure out what is. I mean, it's definitely got problems. Something has happened to it recently. The monitor is going, but it's having like I can't click on anything. There we go. Finally got it working. It's the one I use as my monitor, so I'm like, I can't see what's happening on the show. So there's like this general culture of dating. So in the United States or Canada, if you were to go out and say, okay, I have a single friend, they're actively trying to meet someone, they would like to go out, right? Well, with what frequency are they going out? And obviously there's someone who's just every night, right? I had a friend in the United States, she would have 3 dates lined up on any given night and had to cancel on a couple of them and tried to pull off at least 2. It was just crazy. But normal people would go and only go out maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, just not that much. And being in Nicaragua, if your goal is to go out with someone nearly every night, you probably can. Could be the same person, or it could be a lot of different people. Meeting people is so easy. The pace at which people will go out is so much. If you were like, oh, I met someone, I want to know if they'll go out with me tonight, there's a real chance they'll be like, dinner tonight, let's go. Dancing tonight, let's go. Beers tonight, live music, Vamonos, right? And so it's a very different culture. And obviously most people don't want to go out every night, but people are really out all the time. And so people I know who are in active dating pools are out constantly. They're not struggling to find dates. And it's not because there's more attractive people. It's not because it's because every single person that's in active dating pools is actively out meeting people and willing to go out and date. So typically North Americans tend to kind of really come into a big culture shock if they're going to go into a dating pool in any way, because it's so different than what they're used to. It's so I can just buy someone a drink. It's so I can just walk up to someone and dance with them on a dance floor. It's so this person that I'm not even sure if I could handle talking to just came up and talked to me. Like everything is different because there's so many of the taboos or the social anxiety or the pressures that you're used to in other European derived cultures aren't there. And to the point where even as a guy walking down the street, you might get catcalled, which for guys, really not a problem. For girls, please don't catcall people. I mean, if you're a guy, don't catcall girls. If you're a girl, go ahead and catcall guys. There's never going to be a guy who cares, right? Or who doesn't like it, right? It's always going to be either neutral or positive. So feel free. But if you are a guy, please refrain from catcalling girls. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, it's very easy to do something not just offensive or kind of scary, but illegal. Like, so just don't. And if someone else does, if Nicaraguans do, don't worry about it. They probably know what they're doing. They probably know the person, right? So it's different. But one of the things, this is worth noting, I've said this a number of times on the show, in North America, when people catcall, it is a different thing. It means calling from a distance with no intention of interaction. In Nicaragua, it's literally getting someone's attention. Like, oh, you're too far away for me to talk to normally. I would really like it if you turned your head and we engaged so that I could express interest, so that we could halt your movement past me, so we could decide if we'd like to exchange numbers. No, they really mean maybe you could come over and exchange numbers. They're not catcalling just to be like, haha, I see you there that I can't get to, right? Making sound at you. Like, I don't know what the purpose of that is in North America, but definitely in Nicaragua, right? If someone does that to you and you see who does it and you want to give them your number, you can, guaranteed. Raging Gun. Okay, so my plan is to fly to Nicaragua in October, stay for a few months, then fly back to Canada to deal with some stuff. To deal with your incredible desire to live in snow? Okay. I've been watching all the Nicaragua YouTubers. Scott, you're one of the top Nicaragua dudes. Well, thank you very much. Rob Snyder says, Renee, I'm married, so that's not something I bother to research, but I know plenty of people have had success there. Dynamic says, you must visit Janicia Commodore. I bought a 16-ounce New York strip with gallo pinto, tajadas, and salad for less than $10. Raging Gun says, I'm recently divorced and kicked out of the Air Force. I've got a 3-year-old kid. His mom wants to travel to Nicaragua with me and my boy. How popular will I be with the local women? I mean, that's not a lot of information to go on, but probably pretty popular. So it's both that if you're just willing to actively be in the dating pool, you're probably going to be popular. If you're different than people who are normally in the dating pool, that's going to up your popularity a little bit just because you're unique. Now, if you're trying to do it in San Juan del Sur, you're not very unique, presumably, right? Raging Gun doesn't give me a whole bunch of idea of what you look like. So I'm hypothesizing heavily. But there's a really good chance that you will stand out to some degree, not look Nicaraguan, and that will make at least some segment of the population go, that's interesting. And even if it's only 1 out of 20 people think that's super interesting, you only need to date so many, right? It's kind of like when you're job hunting, don't focus on getting any job, focus on getting the job, because you can't work more than 1 or 2 jobs. Just like when you're looking to get married, you're not looking for how to attract any woman or man, you're looking how to attract the right one. As long as you get the right one, you don't care how many were waiting in line, right? So you could have 100, in my case, women who are like, I would marry him, but none of them are interesting to me. Or just find one that I really like and marry that one, right? Which is success. Having 100 that you don't want or one that you do. One that you do. Clearly, it's not a volume game. So similarly, when you're a foreigner living in a country, most countries, you have the advantage of, even if the average Nicaraguan girl is like, no, I just want to date Nicaraguan guys. It only takes a tiny percentage of the population, based on the percentage of expats, of course, who is like, oh no, just someone different is interesting. I like, It always gives us something to talk about. It gives a different perspective on the world. It makes me a more interesting person, right? If I'm American and a Nicaraguan comes to the United States and they're like, oh, I'm looking to date someone, as an American, I can be like, I can show you all these interesting things to you that are exotic and new. To me, it's just normal everyday life. And so for someone who may not have really big, interesting things to talk about or to give about themselves, if you're dating a foreigner, you suddenly are a gateway to the mundane, which is interesting to a foreigner. So you can find that to be an enticing thing to potentially date foreigners for that reason. So you're generally, as a foreigner, just by in any country, right? It has nothing to do with anything else. Just by being a foreigner in a country, whoosh, you're generally moved up the dating chart. If you are here in Nicaragua, there is a higher female to male ratio in general. So there is only so many men to go around because so many men left to work abroad that it's noticeable within the dating ages. If you're talking about little kids or the retirees, no, it's about 50-50 is normal. But when you're talking about the working ages where most people are doing their dating, there is a skew towards women in Nicaragua just because so many men are living abroad. Some women live abroad too. I have friends who move from here and are female, but they're definitely the minority somewhere else. Raging Gun, politics, haha. Rob Snyder says, Joey, that's a hell of a great deal. Thanks for the heads up. Raging Gun says, spinning table. Okay, let's go. No, they actually have those here. It's a popular thing. You stand on a thing, and it's actually, you stand on a little round table, and they swirl a camera around you. They do it at like carnivals and special events and like the plaza, and then they give you a little video of the world spinning around you. It's cute. Raging Against is good. Langford isn't very social. Canada is just too cold. So one of the nice things about being warm is that everybody goes out. And you're not, going up and talking to people who are hidden behind big coats and hoods and hats and mittens. You're talking about people who are in, strappy light shirts and shorts or whatever. People are ready to dance. People are ready to, socialize. You can get close. You can saddle up next to someone at a bar. You can you can go for a walk really easily. You can walk home. You're not like, I have to just get someone into a cab because there's 5 feet of icy cold. If we stay too long, we freeze to death. Like none of that's there. So it's very just social all the time, going out to clubs. And one thing that it's worth noting, when you live here, get used to everyone's sweats. Like it just is what it is. Obviously take showers, use lots of soap, do all those things. But people do not respond to sweat here the way that North Americans do. In North America, you're like, these people are all sweaty. Right? Here, you're like, we're at a club. Like if you're at a restaurant, you don't want people who are all sweaty, like sitting down to dinner. But you're going out to a club at night. They're not air conditioning that. You're dancing. You're hot. They're going to have fans blowing the air around. Everybody's getting sweaty. And that's just how it is. Everybody accepts it. Right? It's not like just like, I'm used to dancing in the United States. Guys get sweaty. Girls hopefully do not. But they often do. But they often do not as well. In Nicaragua, everyone's going to get sweaty. There isn't someone being spared from it. And everybody's just like, obviously, we're all going to get sweaty. It's hot. It's so nice in reality. Sure, it would be nice if no one got sweaty, but that's not realistic anywhere. When you're dancing, somebody's going to get warm. So it's nice that just everyone does. Everyone's cool with it. Never once have I been like, I'm too sweaty, and someone gives me a hug, and you're like, oh, no, please don't. No, they're always like, what are you talking about? Like, everybody's sweaty. That's just how it is. It's such a thing. Brian says, I can't pass up that steakhouse. Well, we'll take some videos while we're there, Brian. Dynamic says, for sure, I went there last night for the first time. I found the joint in a YouTube video. I'm disappointed I didn't find it sooner. Raging Gun says, that's a nice lens, a nice camera lens, Scott. Oh, my old Nikon 50 millimeter. This baby, I'm going to guess I got this 25 years ago with a Nikon D50 CCD. In case people don't know, I do have, I'm just checking out, I have not looked at the actual state of the optics in this baby in, I don't know, a decade. Who knows when's the last time I looked at it? Can you guys see me? Am I visible? I have no way to see myself. I have no idea what it's doing. Oh, I can see on that you're actually seeing it. Hold on, I'm gonna wait, hold this here until I see if there's any, like, there we go. Is that cool? What did we do there? I don't know. Anyway, So I have a lot of Nikon cameras. This one's old. Mostly I keep this one as like a memento or something. It's not what I would actually use in production. If I'm really taking that, I do have this one. This is an M Zuiko. I think it's my 17 millimeter. Check this out. It has a clutch. Oh yeah, clutched lenses. I love clutched lenses. But this is my workhorse for when I'm doing concert photography. This is my Nikon D3500, and I just bought a D3400 to be its little sibling. I use a mix of, this is my 50 millimeter 1.4 on this bad boy, so freaking fast. So this is an old 50 millimeter 1.4, right, from 30 years ago. That's useless, and this is a 1.4. That's freaking awesome and modern, and I use that for concerts, but I have a matching 1.4 35 millimeter sitting around here somewhere. Heaven only knows where. And yeah, I honestly don't know where. And so I like to switch back and forth between those at concerts, but I can't really switch back and forth during a concert, so I'm going to have 2 camera bodies, 2 lenses, and do that. And then when I'm doing like garden photography and stuff, a huge insect was probably on this and just walked across my desk. It's like, I'm getting out of here. This is my D3000, which is my antique. And if you ever want to get into some fun stuff, this is a really cheap way to get into really good photography. The D3000 is like 15 years old, 17 years old. It's old. I picked this up for an excellent condition, 74, 76 bucks, I think. Camera body, I already had the lens. This is a 18 to 200. It's not very fast, but it does have stabilization. But I've done a ton of model photography, like thousands of pictures. Well, maybe not that. Yeah, no, thousands. With this lens, I do a lot of cool modeling with this, but I love the D3000's look. It's a CCD. So it's super slow. It's a pain in the butt to use, but if you just want a fun camera for some different stuff, I use this. I put images on Nicaragua, and people are just like, oh, I love these pictures. And it's this old camera, but for like if you're into like, I don't know, flowers or architecture, things where you don't need a fast camera, it is a high quality, really cheap camera that I like. I have a lot of cameras. Oh, I was gonna say, for those who don't know, I do have a show called Scott Allen Miller's Camera Cafe, where I talk about cameras. So feel free to watch those. I recently did a comparison of the Olympus EPL9, which is probably my favorite camera. Like, I absolutely love this thing, and look how cool it looks. Like, hopefully I can get a shot of that. It is a sweet looking camera, just in general. This mocha faux leather feel. It's so much fun to just walk around and take pictures with that. But then for some of the shows, I shoot on the ZV-1F, and someone asked me to do a comparison of these, and so I did, and it was a lot of fun doing them. I like holding the 1F better, but it's only a 1-inch sensor and it's not interchangeable lens. This is a little bit heavy, but the interchangeable lens, micro Four Thirds optics, like this baby is good, and relatively cheap. But this, if you're looking for something that this fits the right thing for, I do like this a lot. What camera? Oh, there was a nice lens. Yeah, so yeah, that was the cameras that I have sitting here. I've got a D90 around somewhere. That's an antique. I do not use that for anything. It's starting to be in rough shape. Wilbur says, do you ever check in on Jack Pittman? Seems like his mental health is in question based on some of his more recent videos. He has had a tough time more recently. So actually, Luke, who's on and posted after you asked that, Wilbur, Luke and I were at the 79 Club, the 1979. It's a bar downtown that's pretty famous. We were there, and it's really close to Jack's house. So I actually talked to Jack while I was there and tried to get him to come out and have a beer with us. But he's really busy with some video game projects. He has a video game server and stuff that he runs. He's really into a lot of online gaming stuff. And he was too focused on that, he said, to be able to come out and hang out with us. So that is too bad. But I did check in on him just a few weeks ago. Oh, what did I miss? Oh, spinning table. Do I ever check in? What camera? Covered that. Rob Stonator. I'm in BC, Canada, as opposed to the other BC, like in time, as well. And I've gotten tired of the weather too. I was in BC, but I got tired of the dinosaurs. Raging Gun says, seriously, my last winter, totally. That was one of my big things, honestly. When I moved, I was like, I am done with winter. And one of the reasons I loved, I loved Romania. One of the things I didn't love about Romania, that's what I meant to say, is how harsh the winters are. Like chains required by law, like you got, no. That was rough. And then I lived in Ukraine, but I didn't have to be there during the winter, so that would have been terrible, but it was beautiful because I was there in like the eternal spring of Kiev. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Dynamic says, hey Scott, may I share the YouTube video of the Hanishia Commodore here? You cannot, unfortunately, but what you can do is post it to Nicoloro, and then I can share it for you, but it will not allow you to share a link, I don't believe. No links should be allowed, but it's a YouTube link. It might allow it, but I don't think it will. Raging Gun says, I'm 43, and yeah, I'd like to get remarried, reconnected. Who's buying XRP? I have no idea. Luke says, want to socialize in Nicaragua? Go to Central Park of any town. For sure, you really can. You can meet people just hanging out in Central Park. Raging Gun says, I'll go to the spinning table events that Scott says exist in Leon. I have definitely seen them in Leon at some funny things. At like the Azul Dario Festival, as an example. I've seen them at like a solar eclipse in the afternoon. People are like, oh, a solar eclipse. We need to take video of people in spinning around. Okay. I've seen it at like opening of restaurants, funny things. It's rentable. You can call up a service and they'll bring it out. Raging Gun says, I want to meet a Nicaraguan woman. Well, you are probably going to meet a Nicaraguan woman if you live in Nicaragua because they're everywhere. No, for real, like all over the place. Wilbur says Nicaraguan women are great. Brian Watson says some of us are introverts. That's why you need to walk down the streets and just let the girls whistle at you. And that's why girls need to whistle, because guys, sometimes when they're shy, what are we going to do, right? But we never mind the girls whistling. Someone's going to yell at me for that, but I'm not sure why it's bad. Patricia says, I'm excited to follow your adventures in Matagalpa, Luke. I love the mountains. Raging Gun says legal stuff. Rob Snyder says, Gun, you really don't got to be shy, man. Especially in Nicaragua, you're considered foreign and are interesting and may have more success there. Raging Gun says, Scott is funny. Have you seen any rad pads? I'm looking at these to buy. I've not seen a rad pad because I don't live in fantasy world. Wilbur says, I'm assuming Raging Gun is very handsome. Rob Stenator says, Jack Pittman has some videos about Nicaragua, and he talks about how he had no luck with women in USA. Everything changed for him in Nicaragua. I don't remember ever seeing those videos of his, but that could be. Renee says, how does your beard fit in with the overall population? Well, a lot of the local population is relatively short, so it's about the same size as a lot of people. No, there are very few large beards here. Very, very few. There's some beard shops. There's some companies that make beard products, but few and far between. Very rare. Which is partially why I get recognized on the street so much. I'll be walking down the street and people will just be like, Scott! And I'll be like, in Managua, right? I have no idea who's around. I was out on the street a few days ago, and a girl on a motorcycle came back. She was on the back of the motorcycle, and she was like, Scott! As I went by, and I'm like, but it turned out to be Renee from the WhatsApp group. But I'm like, man, everywhere I go, somebody spots me. But the beard makes it so easy, and I'm a big guy, but it's the beard really does it. Thank you. Elvis has left the stage. Rob Snyder says, Raging Gun, absolutely don't buy those. He's a scammer. I think he knows. I think he's being facetious and mentioning it. Raging Gun says, oh, okay, thanks. I didn't know. Oh, wait, you were serious about the rad pads? Oh, no. One, search on RadPad on my channel, and we've got plenty of videos that go into it. But, no. So, it's worth asking, right? What about the RadPad seemed good? Start from that. Because, I mean, the word is terrible. The name is terrible. It's terrible. I can't take it. And radpad.com, because Radpad is already taken and a trademarked business name. Yeah. But so the thing about the Radpads is that, one, they don't really exist, not in practice. Over the years, the scam has gone on long enough that a few of them are starting to pop up. But these were things that I was here for 6 months, and my people on my channel were being scammed by this. And so it's, sorry, I have a hair bothering me. Speaking of beards. But you can't really get one. But more importantly, all the reasons that they purport them as being good are terrible. Nothing about them makes any sense. Like, it'd be a real problem. So there must be something that you saw in the rad pads. First of all, how did you come across the rad pads? But two, what aspect of it seemed interesting? I guess that would be a place to start. Rob Snyder says, no worries, continue watching Scott here and he'll tell you everything you need to know. Wilbur says, does the economic situation play any role in the dating scene in Nicaragua? It plays a big role, really, because a lot of factors, right? There's a lot of people, both genders, doesn't matter, that are out of work. So if you have an income, there is a possibility, and you could be a Nicaraguan with an income, foreigner with an income, doesn't matter. If you have a steady income, enough to support two people, then there is a huge number of people who are simply in a position to be supported, which does not make necessarily for the best conditions for going after, I've got some money, I'm just going to go find someone I can support. That's not a great start to relationship. This is just Scott giving relationship advice. That someone needs financial support is not a great foundation. If you meet someone wonderful and they need financial support, by all means support them. But don't go out being like, I'm going to support someone, and then find someone who's nice that you need support. Like, it's weird. And just not a recipe for success. But because there's so many people who are out of work, partial work, whatever, it's really easy to go out pretty much anytime, anywhere, and encounter someone who has the free time to date. If you're in America, quite frankly, one of the big reasons that dating is hard is because everybody's working 80 hours a week. Well, if you're working 80 hours a week, first of all, there's 80 hours, so you're not dating. Probably. If you are, that's another problem. But then when you're done with those 80 hours a week, what do you want to do? Go on a date? No, you want to sleep, right? Like, you got to clean your apartment and crash. And when are you going to fit in that latest episode of, whatever? I don't even know what shows are on TV anymore, right? Seinfeld. And you need time to do things, and dating becomes a very difficult thing. But when you have lots of free time, whether you're just working half time or not working at all, and so you're much more likely to be out at a bar. You're much more likely to be on the beach. You're much more likely to go to a club, because a lot of those things are really cheap. So a lot of the clubs are free. You want to drink, you pay, and that's the whole draw. And especially girls, but guys too, if you're there and dancing, they're like, that's what draws people in for drinks. So even if you're not getting a drink, there's always the possibility someone's going to, especially if it's a girl, hey, let her dance. Someone might buy her a drink. Right? Or someone, just because there's more girls on the dance floor, more guys will come in, so the place gets busier. So they're pretty open to, you're not buying anything, but hopefully you're contributing to business. So because there's so many people available, I'm sorry. Now it begins. The dating scene from that economic aspect alone has a lot of available people who just have time to go date. And of course, an inclination, right? Well, I don't have a job, but if this person wants to take me to dinner, that's a dinner I wasn't going to have otherwise, right? They probably have family supporting them in most cases. Like, there's something. They're going to eat, but are they going to go out for a nice shrimp dinner? Are they going to go out to a cool club and have a nice dinner and get to dress up and go watch a band? No, they're going to be stuck at home. So you potentially represent an entertainment and food budget that they may not have. And especially if you're retired or something, there's just so many people who have time for you. So that's one aspect that the economy really does play a role in making dating much easier. Another is that because of the economy, so many men have left the country. So if you're a woman trying to date in Nicaragua, you're up against a demographic disadvantage that there just aren't that many men, even when the expats are taken into consideration, because expats are more likely to be men, but not dramatically so. Whereas the population has lost quite a lot of men from the working ages. So if you're a man looking for a woman, you have a demographic advantage of ratios simply because of the economic condition pushing people to go work abroad. And then, of course, there is a high degree of poverty. Incomes are relatively low. And so there is a certain amount of, most expats have a tendency to have higher than average incomes. And if you think of it in these terms, if you are let's just say that you're retired, you're on Social Security, and you're like, okay, I can make my life pretty comfortable at, let's say, $1,200 a month, which is super lean. And of course, you want more in case of emergency. But this is what you like actually spend per month, not what you can spend, right? So if you can spend 2,000, 2,500, but you do spend 1,200, you're in great shape, right? And 1,200 will allow you to get a perfectly reasonable house with multiple bedrooms, definitely let you get a nice apartment, let you take taxis, take buses, do things, and let you go out to eat, and let you stock your kitchen and do all that stuff. Are you throwing money around and making it rain? No. But are you living a comfortable life? Yeah, very potentially, especially if you buy a house. If you buy it ahead of time and then have like $1,200 a month, oh my gosh, you're great. So let's just say you're doing that, and then you meet someone, and that person is, we'll just say, out of work. They have no financial contribution to you whatsoever, but, they're willing to help you learn Spanish. They're going to, maybe help out around the house. They're going to, travel with you or do fun things. They're going to help you go out and enjoy going to the bar, whatever. You're already living pretty well at 1,200, but your actual spending power isn't too bad. You could have, let's say, $800 per month set aside for, what if I meet someone? This is additional expenditure that I will spend because of them. Okay, so that would take your total monthly up to 2,000. But for a person in Nicaragua, $800 alone, without you or your $1,200, just the $800 for them is enough to move them into middle class. Entry-level middle class, to be sure, but a Nicaraguan that you hand $800 to and don't have kids to take care of or something is able to buy a car, is able to buy a house, and is able to go out to eat, let's say twice a week, and is able to just do things, right? They have power. Now, if they don't have to work, oh my gosh, then they're really in good shape, right? But if they have to go to work, yeah, it's still a struggle. We're talking super entry-level middle class, if you were taking that and adding someone and being like, oh, you want to be a part of my life, here's my budget for you in a month, you could easily add to someone's life without the resources you yourself have, enough to make them middle class, taking them out of abject poverty up to middle class, just like that. So obviously, when that situation is common, the fact that you very easily are carrying the capability of giving someone a middle-class life, maybe not a rich life, but a middle-class life, casually, is a really strong dating incentivizer, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to date you if they don't like you. It doesn't mean, but if someone's like, oh, dating is scary, dating is worrisome, dating is an effort, when you're talking about like this kind of money as a comparison, people get over dating being an effort real fast because you have the kind of money in almost all cases to solve life problems. So, I've got to do all these things. I've got to deal with this. I've got to deal with that. I've got to deal with, and I have friends who have met Nicaraguan girls who were, and it just happens to be, men who are dating girls, but it goes either way. And those girls are like, oh, I have this really tough work schedule and I have this really tough, and it was like, dating was hard. Because trying to find time, she was always tired. And he's like, well, I really like this girl. I'm like, look, the amount of money she's making is so little. And she likes you, you like her, you're putting up with it under these conditions. Make all that go away, right? Raise her budget and don't make her go to work. Now she has time to help you with life, and you're going to make her life better. She can always say no, right? And of course, she was like, this is the best thing ever. Right? Suddenly she had way more money. She didn't have to go to work. She's able to spend time with this guy. And and lots of people have this story, like being able to change someone's life so that they can enjoy life with you. Like, that's fantastic. So that's not something we're used to coming from North America, where it's like the chances that I'm going to earn enough money that I can just meet someone and be like, hey, you don't have to go to work anymore. I'll just cover all of your expenses. And I don't even need you to come live with me, right? Like in most cases, it's oh, you're going to come live with me and our shared expenses are going to make things better. Of course, right? That makes sense. But there's also this like, well, I'll just pay for your house. Right? Like, you don't need to move in with me. A lot of, especially a lot of retirees are kind of like, no, I want my space. I would like to have someone in my life, but I'd really like them to be, maybe across the street, maybe a few blocks away, maybe even across town. I'd love to be able to get together most any time with minimal effort, but I don't want them necessarily sitting in my living room every day. No problem. You could get them a house not very far away. In most cases, quite easily. But if that's not what you want, if you do want them to be there, then, let them move in with you, and having a house that people fit in and they can do that. Like it's very, very easy to solve those problems in so many cases that for so many Nicaraguans, money is the biggest problem. And with so many foreigners having so much of a budget to be able to fix those problems, it tends to be a good answer. And you do want to be careful, but there's two extremes. You don't want to be in a position where you're just walking around throwing around money, being like, I'm going to pay for someone's life to make their life good, so they'll want to date me. That's probably a bad way to go, but you also don't want to be on the other side, as Americans often are, and being like, whoa, can't you pay for your own bills? Like, I pay for mine, you pay for yours. Like, that's, growing up in the United States, you're partners in these things, right? You go out, like, and most people I know, when they go out on dates, it's like, well, he pays half, she pays half. But when you're here, like, no, those things don't make sense in most cases. There'll be exceptions, but very few exceptions. And so you kind of need to accept okay, the financial benefits that I provide as a foreigner are real, and they don't just make dating easier. They're really, in many cases, solving problems in that person's life. You're not just like buying them like frivolous gifts. If you take them out to dinner, that's money that they were going to have to spend on a meal that night, and instead you bought them dinner. Now they have more money for food the rest of the week, right? And that's often the case. Not that they were going to starve, but now they have a lot more flexibility. They can get more of what they want and less of what they, less of just rice and beans again. So yeah, the economic situation certainly plays in a lot. And in many ways, it ends up being very positive that the dating mechanism can make a positive impact, and that's great. But it also does risk the possibility of abuse on either side. One feeling that money entitles them to things, or just treating it as buying people, and on the other side, dating for the purpose of money. You don't want those things to happen. So there's a happy medium where the relationship is valid and real, but money becomes a factor by which it can be simplified and make a positive difference in people's lives. So you want to be careful. Wiggy says, thank you for the dating advice, Scott. I need all the help you can give. Dynamic says, Juanicia, that is a hard word to say. Juanicia Grill is the name of the Commodore. You can YouTube it. All right, cool. Raging Gun says, nope. Oh, wait, yes. Luke says, it went flying by. There we go. Luke says, walk through Matagalpa Central Park on the way to dinner. Hundreds of people there after sunset. Walk back through on the way to the hotel. Still a good 200 folks. Matagalpa Central Park is especially popular. Raging Gun says, upside down. James McGowan says, Luke Graham, are you doing Matagalpa vids YouTube? He is a little bit. Common Man gave us 5 stars. Thank you very much. Luke says, yep, just got here yesterday. 90 vid from Brooklyn Cafe Terrace. 90 vid? Still shots from town and dinner. Ooh, Luke, if you got still shots, why aren't they up on Nicaragua? That's a perfect spot to be sharing them. Actually, if you got good photos, if it's like casual photos, you're like taking food of your pictures. Are you taking food of your pictures, people? If you're taking pictures of your food, if you're taking pictures of like random stuff, like here's my quick selfie, here's just some stuff going on around town, like, oh man, I found this Commodore, they've got great food. Nicaragua is perfect. If you're going to be doing like photography, like, oh, look at these great photos I got. Here's like some street photography. Here's some garden photography. Then photos are better on nicagram.com, which is, I will put that link in here. Not that you can't figure it out. A kind of related platform, totally different type of server. So Mastodon, Nicaragua is a Mastodon server. So like Twitter, Nicagram is a pixel-fed server like Instagram. And allows you to post up to 8 high-quality images in any given post, and does a beautiful job of displaying them, and now has collections. I don't know how to use them, but so if you're displaying photos, Nicagram. If you are information, Nicaloro. And one of the things that I've come to realize, and you don't think about it because they feel so similar in so many ways. Nicagram, if you don't have a photo, it won't let you post. You must put photos, and then you can put comments on them. But it's photo first. Nicaloro is all about the text, but you can attach a photo if you want. So Nicaloro only up to 4 photos, and it's not photocentric. Nicagram up to 8, totally photocentric. But definitely pop those up, like Matagalpa shots and stuff. It's great for people to be able to share them and see them and everything. And if you guys see, when I do photography and I'm linking it, you'll notice it's Nicagram. When you link Nicaloro, it's like the information, and then if you go into it, you can see photos. If you link Nicagram, it shows the photos as part of the highlight. Okay. Shout out to dinner. Joseph says, Saludo, Scott. Hey, Joseph, how's it going? Raging Gun says, what camera are you one not for this live stream? What camera are you on not for this live stream? I think that's what he means. So I have a lot of cameras. I'll give you a quick rundown. So the live stream is a Fuji XS20, which is my workhorse camera. If I'm doing stills, like I'm going out and doing portrait photography or event photography, then I'm normally on Nikon DSLRs, which I realize are antiques, but I love DSLRs. Look, I grew up as a professional photographer in the 80s, so I cling to my SLRs just because I like the real-time optics and how they feel and look, and I just feel really natural with them. I've been a Nikon user since I bought my first one, I think in 1991, an N5005. So I've got the 3500 to 3400 to 3000 and a 90 that I keep here, plus a 50 that my dad has of mine. So I've got a lot of those, all with the same lens mount. And then I have 2 1-inch sensor Sonys. This is the 1F and the ZV-1, which is basically the same. You can't tell the difference when you look at them. So I've got 2 of those. I then have my Olympus system, which is my small Olympus, the EPL 9. And then I've got the big one. This is actually my most expensive camera and lens. This is the Olympus EM1 Mark II. This is a monster, also with clutch. Hear that? Oh yeah, big lens clutch. This is my beast. It's actually dramatically more expensive than the Fuji that we're on. It's also twice the weight, but it's the one you can pour a bucket of water on. This whole thing, I can submerge this. It's fine. I like using the Fuji a little bit more, but man, I love my Olympus too. I do a lot of, if you ever see the ones in the garden that everyone's just like, that is the best picture ever, what are you using? It's probably this. So I've got 2 Olympus, 4 Nikons, 2 Sonys, the Fuji. I'm about to get a second Fuji. I then use an Insta360 X3 for 360 footage. I use an Insta360 Go 3, which is the little tiny magnetic one when I'm doing like sneaky footage. It doesn't have the same image quality, but you can like get in places that you couldn't otherwise. And then I have a GoPro 9, 11, 12, and 13. And then my big thing recently we're starting to use is I have the DJI Pocket 3 gimbalized camera. And then I have an iPhone 16 Pro. So it's got the triple cameras with all the extra stuff. And then I have goofy stuff. We showed this recently, like a little 3D camera, but this is really just a gimmick. I think that's all the actual cameras. It feels like a lot when I say it like that. But I do have a show about cameras, right? Like I do a camera show. I have loads of lenses for all of these. And I'm not buying any more types of cameras. I only buy these couple. So I specifically use Sony video cameras for 1-inch sensors. I have the Olympus Micro Four Thirds system, all that share lenses. I have the Nikon APS-C DX DSLR cameras. I don't know if I'll ever move up to their mirrorless or not because the Fuji and the Olympus are so good. And then I'm newest on the Fuji, and I've got the Olympus. And then all my action and 360. I have to have a different kind of camera for everything. So I have very specific, every different camera capability except for a drone, so that we can always get whatever type of shot. And the Pocket 3 and this camera are I'm out at like dinner. I want to do like nights out filming at like restaurants and stuff. That's where they really shine. That's what drove us to them. What camera are you now on for the live stream? After all that was all the different cameras. That is the Fuji XS20, which is a relatively new camera. It was considered like camera of the year last year. This year, the camera of the year is the XM5, also from Fuji. It is actually this camera, but they remove the big battery, put in a smaller battery. They remove the IBIS, the in-body image stabilization, which takes up quite a bit of space and power. That's the thing that actually stabilizes the sensor in 5 axes. So they take that out, and they take out the optical viewfinder and strip it down and make it quite a bit smaller, which this is a small camera already. They make it quite a bit smaller, but same lens mount, same sensor, same processor, same everything. And that is this year's like amazing camera of the year, because a lot of people don't need image stabilization like that. Just shoot faster and don't shake. And it's so small and so cute. I do plan on getting one, and I do plan on doing a lot of the live stream with it because I can put it on the tripod. It'll look absolutely identical to this. There's no way to tell them apart. And they share the fan. I have to have active cooling because of the way we do the live stream. So I want to have it for when I'm tripod mounted, and the XS20 for when I'm hand holding, because that's when this image stabilization really matters. And I have so many lenses for them that having 2 makes it much easier to have lenses at the ready. So I do plan on getting that. I love Olympus, but they don't have a new camera that I'm like anxious to get my hands on. So I'm sticking with the ones I have for now. Same thing with the Nikon. Like, I've got the stuff I want. Every so often I need a new lens or some little thing. That's about it. Raging Gun, the dinosaurs and the taxes. Raging Gun, BC has the highest priced everything. Chris says the pear nectar was good for the first few sips, but it's a little rich for my liking. Yeah, I never drink a can of that. I decided to transition to Tonya. Joseph says, would I be able to take an Amazon Fire Stick through the Managua airport? Yeah, of course. Would I be taxed for it? No. Yeah, of course you can take a Fire Stick. Luke says, I pleasantly spook the kids with my beard. The parents try to get them not to stare, and I act the fool for laughs. Raging Gun says, serious? Yeah, didn't know. Not even joking. They look cool. Cheap? Not really. I don't know. I'm not that smart. No, I don't want that. I want to... Oh, I think you're talking about dating. I wasn't sure if it was about cameras. I want to marry the daughter of a well-to-do Nicaraguan professional. They're harder to date because they tend to be wary of foreigners and just have access to kind of a really good dating pool. So you'll find that to be challenging but possible. And, you know, once you're in for a while and get to be known in society and stuff, it changes. But especially at first, you'll find it very challenging. Someone who owns houses and land. Curious George. Mary says, dating, do not rush into anything. No, for sure. Spidey, I'm not signing any paperwork. Wilbur says, people are watching Severance on TV right now. Oh, I have not even heard of that. Oh, maybe I have, but I don't know what it is. James says, Luke, Elvis is Dead by Forgotten Rebels. RM says, good videos this week. Oh, thank you. It seemed like it was a good week. It seemed on point. One of the things that makes the videos generally better is that I've gotten ahead, so I'm not scrambling to make videos. It's not like last year was very much, oh my gosh, nearly every day I would make the video and work hard to get it posted that same day. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's just exhausting to an unbelievable degree. And this year, one of my things, and this started when I went to Argentina, so it's been a little while, but I was like, I have to have a backlog, and then it just, you know, going to be okay. And so now I think the videos are already posted up to like, I think posted to the 16th, which is only 10 days. But I've shot several that haven't been edited yet. So if I was able to post everything I had shot, I think we're up to the 19th. And I already have one that like just needed to be held off because it was too close to another video I made not that long ago. So it's already set to post in June. So I've got something like 11 or 12 videos up from where we are, and another like 3 or 4 recorded. And by doing that, it means like today I had time to edit one thing and do something. It just That's better. So I think the quality goes up when I have that buffer. Also, I did manage to get several episodes for Nicaragua edited this week. So I'm ready to shoot another one on Saturday. And so if you are into live music from Nicaragua or music from Nicaragua, go check it out. I believe the Rockman Bronza episode is up, but in just a couple days, you'll have an episode from another band, and then in 1 week, another band, and another week, another band. And they're like 2.5-hour concerts normally. And they get I think they're pretty interesting because you see very different music and you see different shows, but we often shoot here in Leon, but we're going to be soon heading into Managua for multiple shows. We've been requested to go shoot at a festival, at a barbecue festival by the band that's going to be there. They're like, no, can you guys come and film the whole thing? So we're going to do our best to get lots of footage there. And we're talking about building a new studio. We do have interviews on that channel. So if you haven't checked out Nika Roomba, this is just YouTube/@ Nika Roomba. Please go subscribe and watch some of those after the live stream. Put them on TV, listen to some music. It's fantastic. It's a passion project, right, that we've been doing. And right now there's one big interview that Marcela did with, it's all in Spanish, with Cadejo for a memorial concert. She has a big interview with Paul Baker in Spanish. We've done interviews with him in English. She does one in Spanish with him. These were shot before she was sick. And we're talking about moving towards kind of having like a morning show format. We're talking about doing more interviews, getting more artists to sit down with her, because she's very much in the arts scene, and getting Ronnie Duarte involved and really getting artists to talk about what they do and why they do what they do, and the scene in Nicaragua and stuff, and having kind of a music magazine format. So some things that could be interesting, especially for people who are looking at getting a kind of preemptive look into Nicaraguan culture, or if you are Nicaraguan and moved away, a chance to remind yourself of what it's like here without actually being here. So that is that takes a lot of work to do, but I managed to get a bunch of those done this week as well. All right, cool. Raging Gun says I've got $1,200 Canadian. That is what, 500 USD? That is a little bit low. Wilbur says, Raging Gun, you already got 2 kids, bro. You should think about taking it slow on dating in a new country. Learn the language and culture first. That could take a while. Typically, it takes a while to pick up a language. I think a lot of people report that dating is one of the best ways to pick up a language, because it gives you an opportunity to have someone who's generally willing to put up with you, but that you kind of have to be comfortable speaking with. So a lot of people find that is a thing that really pushes them forward, because it's kind of like you have a personal tutor there all the time who has an incentive to be able to talk to you. Of course, if you find someone who speaks English, then there you go. Tom says, Scott, I know your thoughts on the nomad capitalist. How do you believe he can charge that much to high net worth investors if he is scamming? Because people are stupid. I mean, it really comes down to it. The fact that people have high net worth rarely is in any way tied to intellect. People have high net worth often because they are not very intelligent, and you then will often scam as an alternative, right? You're willing to do things to get money because you kind of feel like you have to. And obviously, the average high net worth person is not going to talk to him. He only needs a few. He's charging insane amounts of money and gets a few customers, right? So that's it's what Scott Adams calls the stupid rich. The dream of every business is to find a product that appeals to the stupid rich and doesn't appeal to the smart poor, because the smart poor have time and effort to ruin your life and expose your product. But if they don't care about your product and only the stupid rich do, then you have people who will throw money at you even though you don't do anything. So that is the nomad capitalist model. If he is recommending that people go somewhere, run away from that place. And his stuff is mostly secret, right? But also, like, okay, so he's scamming. I actually have a video already recorded that talks about why this works the way that it does, why the expat scams are so effective. And it's because there's no possibility of tracking him down. There's no way that he can be held accountable for the things that he doesn't do, right? So imagine you hire him and you're like, I need to know what country to move to. Well, he's not 100% scamming. He's not going to like sell you out, put you on a boat and just harvest your kidneys. He's going to send you to a country, but he's going to send you to one of just a few countries that he knows, presumably. And, he's going to suddenly recommend, Malaysia. It just happens to be the place that he lives that's right for you. It would be like hiring me to find the right country for you and then being like, oh, what a coincidence. It's Nicaragua. And every single person I've talked to, it just happens to be Nicaragua. It just, sometimes these things happen. Kismet. No, that's me scamming you, right? If I'm paid to find you the right country, it's, 5 to 10% of the time is going to be Nicaragua, but 95% of the time it's going to be somewhere else, right? Mexico, Argentina, Thailand, Tanzania, right? One of these places is more likely than other random places, but the chance that I'm going to constantly recommend the place that I'm in, if I'm being honest, low. But importantly, let's say he's got 5 places that he can cycle between. Malaysia, Mexico, whatever. And he doesn't have Nicaragua. And someone comes by and is a perfect fit for Nicaragua. And it's the perfect financial situation. It's just exactly what he's looking for. If he doesn't recommend Nicaragua, how is that person going to know? The ability to know means there's no reason to hire the guy. You can't hire him. You can't need to hire him. You can't, what am I trying to say? If you are hiring him, you have no way to know if he's giving you good advice, right? Because to know that, you would not need the advice. And so he knows that he's got a guaranteed audience who are not able to determine this stuff on their own. So what could they do? You didn't consider Nicaragua. What do you mean I didn't consider Nicaragua? Of course I did, but it wasn't right for you. It's too hot. He'll make something up. It doesn't matter. He'll just say, well, I don't remember the specifics, but it wasn't the right place for you. Of course we considered it. How can someone prove that he didn't recommend something because it was not the right choice versus he never considered it because he doesn't know what the options are? He just, has just 1 or 2 things. There's enough variation that people don't catch on. That's all you need. And so it is very hard in relocation. And then how does someone catch it, right? Okay, so they move to Malaysia, and what? After 2-3 years, they go, wait a second. I don't feel like the tax situation is what he said. Wait a second. I didn't get residency like he said I would. Wait a second. The weather isn't as nice as he said it was. Whatever. You're so much later. And, okay, so you didn't get residency. Oh, sorry, things change, right? I can only tell you how it is at the time. Maybe it's not that way anymore. I'm not in charge, if he's even still around, right? He's got so many outs, so many ways. It's a type of business. There's no way to hold him accountable. So, yeah, if you went into that, you'd just be like, of course it's going to be a scam if you're thinking about it. And if you're not thinking about it, it's going to work, right? Raging says, I don't need to work anymore, bro. I want a young Nicaraguan beauty. Come on, easy, relax. I'm not catcalling. 2 kids, why not? Not sure what the question was. Raging Wilbur says, just looking out for you, wouldn't want you to get hoodwinked. Raging with, 2 with the 2 new kids, he's thinking. Leo says, what is the transportation app that you mentioned previously in another lecture? It would be InDrive. That is the one we use in Managua. Raging says, I'll start learning Spanish words for sure. James says, 1,200 Canadian pesos. It's funny, we joke about pesos as if it's like means something, but peso just means weight, so it's a generic term for any currency. But Canada, like the United States, uses the peso symbol. That's actually its name, right? The $sign was originally the peso, so it is Canadian pesos. Renee says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Raging says, don't want any hoodwinking, only winking. Raging says, the Fuji looks great. A ton of cameras. Wow. Yes, I shouldn't list all my cameras when my wife is around. At times, she's like, wow, you need a new camera. Like, go get a new GoPro. Like, go get a... and then other times, she's like, your room is just cameras. But I do keep them in perfect condition. Like, I've had this... I honestly don't know when I bought the D35. I feel like it was after we moved to Nicaragua. Oh, it was definitely after we moved to Nicaragua. This is one of my first purchases. Here, I was like, I need a better camera. My D90 was just getting beat up. And I'm like, I'm going to leap to the best of that series, the very newest that Nikon ever made. And I just got it, and I've been like, oh, love this camera. I mean, I loved the D90 for so long. It was my workhorse for most of my adulthood. So I can't complain about that. But because I'm here in paradise and have an opportunity to do shots for Nicagram, to do shots for Nicaloro, to do shots, my Flickr has exploded in the years before we came here. Like, I'd always used photography online for things, but in 2019, my nieces, my two oldest nieces, well, I guess in 2018, my eldest niece graduated high school, and her graduation present from us was a trip to Europe. But we were just busy. There's a lot going on. And so my wife took her, and they went to England and Scotland and Northern Ireland and Wales and backpacked for the summer together, just the two of them. And I kept the kids, and we hung out and stayed home, and I worked a lot. In 2019, my second oldest niece graduated high school and junior college. She managed to do both in the same year. And so in that year, we were going around Europe, and she said what she wanted for her graduation, because we let them pick where they want to go. So my eldest was like, I want to do the England, the UK thing. That's what she wanted to do. And the second oldest was like, I want to go do like Mediterranean beach tour. She wanted to see Paris. She wanted to see Greek beaches, Italian beaches, Spanish beaches. Like, that was her thing. And her goal of the trip was to create the ultimate Instagram trip. Like, she wanted photos of everything. And I had been her professional photographer when she did like graduation. Like, I did all that stuff. So we had like worked together doing modeling. She was like professional model at the time. And so we did this 2019 trip during the summer to it was really cool because we went to Greece and stayed just a few towns away from where we used to live on Crete. So it was like being back home. It was so, I mean, Greece really does have a lot of home feeling. It's so great being back there. And so we went there, and it started in Greece. So we did like 5 weeks or something, I want to say, just in Greece. And while being there, it was, I don't know, 6,000 photos we did while we were there. I did so many photos, and they are so popular that I believe we are up to 110 million views of the photos of that trip. Let that number sink in. 110 million views of one trip in 2019. And I still get every single day, right? Every single day, I have 100 notices from Flickr that a photo has been added to someone's favorite. It's been requested to be added to a group, something. Every so often a photo gets put into the discovered thing, and then thousands of people look at it. So I can between 50 and 150,000 views of my photos every day. Every day. So it's, yeah. So I do that. 2019, I kind of leapt forward in photography, and it was like, okay, there's whole new realms of photography that I enjoy doing and I'm interested in, and it was it built a portfolio, and it was like, okay, now I could actually justify having cameras for a lot of reasons. Like, this makes sense, and I used to be a professional photographer, so there's always been a little bit of like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to have cameras and do things, but everybody hear that? That was the gecko screaming at me. But that was a year of really major change. So when we ended up coming to Nicaragua, I was ready to like get new cameras and do a ton of photography here, and really wanted to just have a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm going to link my friend. It's in the show notes, but for anyone who wants to see my Flickr account, you can see it that way. I have no idea can you sort by, no, there's no way to like sort by popular. That would be really useful. I don't know why they don't do that. I'll go see what the stats are. I want a camera for, tons of cameras. Dynamic says, thanks for the content. Talk soon. All right. Raging Gun says, I want a camera for green screen video for dancing, making dancing videos. Really, you have so many options. Like everything will work. So it's one of those things where just any camera that makes you happy is going to work absolutely fantastic. This little guy, it's going to work fine. I picked this up for about $300. Completely compact, easy to use, fits in your hand. I just carry. I can throw this in my pocket, like no big deal. Here I'm going to look. Yesterday I got, not that many, 51,000 views on Flickr yesterday. My total 121.8 million all-time views. But you guys can check that out. I will show you. See if I can get a link for it. This is my #1 photo of all time, which is from that 2019 trip. But I do photos of everything all the time. So my niece really had wanted, I don't think we ever made this, she wanted to make a coffee table book of all the shots from that trip, because we went everywhere. We spent all this time on Greece, and it was fantastic. And I have a video series for it. If anyone has not watched this, we made a video series, which is actually not done yet. And it was doing that video series that encouraged me to really get out off my duff and make this show. So this is really the inspiration for that. I've got to find it. Where is it? What? That should be easier to find. It's Take Flight with Scott. Wait, start typing Take Flight. There it is. There we go. And this one is not got as many subscribers as it should have. It does not have as many video views as it should have. But I think some of these are actually pretty decent videos. And this is where I learned editing. So these are the very first shows that I ever did and edited. So be kind. But I'm also really happy with how they turned out, because I was shooting video for my niece. I was just shooting like B-roll the whole time so that she would have videos of our trip. I didn't have anywhere to store them. I didn't have any way to edit them at the time. I had no idea what I was going to do with them. And I took thousands of pictures. I had one camera with us on that trip. It was not a GoPro. I didn't have the GoPro 9 yet. And every single thing was shot on a Panasonic FZ300, like big thing I was holding all the time. And I think it turned out great. Like, it really was a good tool for everything. And I had to learn how to get music to add to everything. And so, yeah, go subscribe and watch some of those. I'd really appreciate you guys showing that channel some love. It's only got 358 subscribers. Let's see if we can get this up to like 375 or something. And it's just 10 videos. And they're all short. They're all like 5 to 10 minutes. Like, it's not like my normal... I've talked as long in this about it than there is that show. Let's see. Oh yeah, for the green screen, any camera that you can't use a DSLR. Obviously, this is not a video camera, but anything that does video. But I really like Fuji. I really like Olympus. But if I wasn't gonna get those, Panasonic is really good. If I wasn't gonna get that, probably Sony. No, I would get Nikon before Sony, and then Sony. The only one that I personally am not into is Canon. Obviously, most people think they're the best. Nothing wrong with that. They do a great job. I don't feel inspired using a Canon. I also don't normally feel inspired using a Sony. But I really like these little tiny white handheld jobbers. They're my exception. But in general, Sony just doesn't inspire me. Olympus and Fuji like make me want to take pictures. And Nikon feels neutral to me, but in this really high quality, like nostalgic way. Like, it's just taking pictures the old way. Janice says, I'm back. Raging says, editing and uploading is tiresome. It's become such a part of my life that I don't even really think about it anymore. But yeah, I use Final Cut Pro. Just use DaVinci Resolve unless you're going Pro. But I really do like Final Cut. Raging Gun. Nika Roomba. Yeah, you got it right the second time. Barbecue, let's go. Not all. We know some criminals. Chris says, don't get hornswoggled. or Wiggle Woggled. Joseph, I can hear my car. They're trying to sell the car out there. Joseph says, I'll be around Leon and Granada on the 11th through the 18th. Are there any festivals or concerts that you know of to make my time there more fun? I don't know about those dates, Joseph, but like, look on Nicaragua concerts. Well, you're going to be in Leon. Like, concerts get put up just a couple days before the events typically. So planning ahead most of the time doesn't work very well. But if you're planning like 2 or 3 days out, generally there's some stuff. But just look, you'll be there on a, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just see what's up on Nicaragua and just go hang out somewhere. But I don't know what days of the week those are, but every Friday there's live music at the Simple, most in the afternoon. Every Friday night there's live music at Via Via in downtown. Every Saturday afternoon live music at Desperados. Places like NL Vivero have live music most nights. Padrinos most nights. Like there's lots of places with lots of live music, so finding something should not be hard. La Fabrica will often have stuff as well. Raging, but I don't know of any festivals during that window. 11th through the 18th, so that's in 5 days. I'm trying to think. Well, unless you want to go to the mail review that's going on the 15th, but you have to pretend to get in. It's women only out on the beach, but there is a strip party on the beach. For anyone who wants to go to Leon, Desperados is hosting on the 15th. It's a ladies' night, meaning it is Dia de la Madre. No, it is Dia de la Mujer. But it's a week late, and big party at Desperados. If you want to see guys dancing, they're not actually going to be naked, but it's, themed. Like a strip club. Raging Gun says that's where she slips a pill into the drink and steals your wallet. James says purchase a vehicle in Nicaragua, business versus retirement, visa, pros and cons. First of all, there are ways you do not have to have residency to buy a car. We don't know how it works, but like my business partner actually bought a car. We had a company. We thought it was in the company name. It was not. It was just in his name. Did he have residency? No. Does now, but he didn't then. But they got it done. Have your lawyer look into it. Might be more of a pain, but a lot of people incorporate. That's easy. If you're planning on getting a retirement visa, you're going to have it soon. Yeah, maybe just wait and do it that way. But if you need a car, there's always a way to get one. It's really not a big deal. Don't make big life decisions around how you want to buy a car. Just find a way to get a car under the system that you have. Raging Gun says, yeah, we got to live in the moment. We got to chill. The Canadian dollar is not good. James says, do they have a pavilion for home sales? Video tour. Pavilion for home sales. What do you mean by pavilion? Like, I don't know the context of what you're saying, James. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Rob Stonator says, it isn't good, but it's not quite 500 Canadian equals 1,200 USD. It's more like 850. I think that's backwards or something. Raging Gun says, I'm ready to go. I put in a bunch of links. Luke says, hit the BandPro ATM here for the first time. Tried to pull the max. Most I could take out was 7,000 cord. Was happy to see it was all 200 notes as I had problems breaking 500 notes in Managua. Man, I've never gotten 200 cord notes out of the ATM. I never have problems breaking a 5. That's weird. Janet says, I'm too tired to go to Padrinos tonight. Oh, who's at Padrinos tonight, Janet? It is Thursday, right? Yeah, there's almost always someone. Oh, wait, is Cadejo there tonight? They're often. Sakasa is tomorrow at Via Via? Honestly, if Sakasa's at Via Via tomorrow, and I mean, I love seeing Mario. He's awesome. I'm going to take the night off. I'm generally tired, and his videos are the least. He's one of the most popular bands in the country, but how did I not know he was there tomorrow night? But his videos do not do well. People are not interested in seeing them, which is weird, but just not. Oh, it is the Dukes. Okay. I mean, they were at my birthday party a few days ago, so I don't need to see him. Yep, there he is, Sakasa Via Via. So if you're in, I'm not going to be there, but Sakasa is fantastic, and we'll be there. So, okay, so anyone who's in Leon tonight, this is Los Duques, who were at my birthday party along with Brenda. So you might see Brenda that they were asking about. Go see them for sure. Tell them I sent you if you're in Leon. If you are in Managua tonight, then you have to go see my favorite female show. Haiti Gallo is performing at Roncan Rolas, which is definitely one of the best venues in Managua. Kind of a seedy dive bar, really big music venue. So definitely go check her out. She is not there with the Roosters. She is there as a two-piece show. She is fantastic. Janice says, if those guys are playing Franklin and Jar, I always want to see them. Yeah, they always play at places that I can't be, or at times that I can't go. Who else is playing? Oh, Haiti Gallo and Grupo Cadejo, not to be confused with Cadejo, is playing where? El Junte in Managua. I don't know where that is. Is that tomorrow? It's got to be. Yeah, tomorrow. And then Sakasa here. And then Haiti is playing on Saturday at Mama Chilo. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff up at Nicaragua. You got choices, guys. You got stuff to go see. Goobs is here. Hey, Scott, is there a way you can flight cheap from Miami or Fort Lauderdale Airport to Nicaragua since Spirit is out of the way? So Spirit is still doing some flights, just not very regular. So check out Spirit and just be flexible with the flight dates. But also check out Avianca because they're flying out of both of those airports as well. Luke says, Ron Conrolas was where I saw the Pink Floyd show last week. Yep, I remember you were there in Altamira in the Rotunda, Central America, or just off Rotunda, Central America, in Altamira. I'm there every so often. It's a kind of regular place. And last time I was there, I got recognized by multiple people. They're like, Scott's here. I'm like, oh boy. Goob says, or what other country nearby I can get a good deal on flights? You really don't want to fly into other countries most of the time. Because unless you're just trying to come to the region. But if you want to end up in Nicaragua, fly to Nicaragua. Flying to somewhere else, it's going to cost a lot more and take a lot more time. James says, though they sell Huawei phones in Nicaragua? Yeah, absolutely. Banned in Canada and U.S. Really amazing cameras. Yes, no, we're not a nanny state country, and we're not blocking the quality stuff just to keep Chinese products off the shelves. You can definitely get Huawei here. They're not super popular here, which I don't understand because they're fantastic for sure. Xiaomi is sold pretty heavily here. They're very popular, which you can get in Canada, but not very popular. I like Xiaomi a lot. If I was going to not have an iPhone, probably Huawei is where I'd start, but Xiaomi would be a tough competition too. We also have a lot of Honor. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to think what else I see a lot of. Those are kind of the big ones. I haven't used an Honor, so I can't speak to it, but I'm sure it's good. Luke says July 13th, Fort Lauderdale, MIA. 336 on Spirit, Avianca 303. There you go. So you got some choices. What time is it? 10 o'clock. I have a feeling they're selling our car out there right now. Like, I'm not going to have a car to go anywhere tomorrow, which could end up being a little bit of a problem if, if we're not careful. Because my wife is like, money in the hand. Just take the money and run. I'm like, but we haven't gotten our replacement car yet. Like, how are we going to go to Managua to pick it up? But I am looking forward. So I don't even know have we done a live show since I bought a car? I bought a car. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because there's going to be an awesome episode talking about buying it. So there's going to be one episode about financing a car because I did that, or paying for a car. I already recorded that. I don't know when it goes live. I have no idea what video was today. I don't even know. That's one problem with my getting way ahead on videos is that then a lot of times I'll forget that a video posts midday, and then I'll be like, oh, what is today's topic? I don't know what there is, and I'll be feeling very lost in regards to the show and stuff. So I really don't know what show we posted today because I had a short that came up right after it and kind of it knocks it out of my lineup. And it was just a short saying to check out the live stream. I'm also checking out Nicoloro as I found new people following me and stuff. Thanks, guys, for signing up. We got a couple new people on Nicoloro. And it's funny that Mastodon is kind of really popular and kind of not because we're ranked pretty high as an active Mastodon server just because of the number of people we have and stuff going on. So it's pretty cool. What was I in the process of? Oh, yeah. What video came out today? Inquiring minds want to know. Looks like... Walking Las Penitas Beach Road 2025. That's what it was. And I do believe that is the one where I talk about the car. It must be. Am I crazy? Did anybody watch it today to can tell me if that's what I talk about? Oh, no. The one about the car is coming out on the 11th. You got 5 days to wait on that. What's the last one that is scheduled? The 15th that I have uploaded. But there's several that are not uploaded yet. So I'm really looking forward to being a whole month ahead. I'm going to feel so good when we get to that point. That's going to be just like, holy cow, how did that happen? Yeah. All right, getting distracted. Let's make sure no one is joining Nicoloro that I don't know about. I know Luke joined. No one knew. Come on, someone else in this group wants to join Nicoloro right now. I know you do. You're nervous. You're like, it's a new technology. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But give it a try. It's a great place to interact with us. Dynamic Joey signed up. Luke signed up. We got a number of people signed up last week. So it's pretty cool. Oh, for those who knew I was looking for Fraggle Rock Season 2 and was struggling to find it, I did manage to get and download Fraggle Rock Season 2. My Fraggle Rock collection is now complete. The world is at peace. So very cool there. As far as that goes. And if you don't know what Fraggle Rock is, you're seriously missing out. You need to work on these things. All right. Cheap flight. Huawei's. The old Land Cruisers, this is in digital format. Hey, in digital. The old Land Cruisers, they are awesome. I do wish I could get an old Land Cruiser. That is not what I got, but I'm not going to tell you what I did get, but I did not get an antique Land Cruiser, but it did cross my mind. Ariel is here. Hey, how's the night in my home country? Greetings from Miami. How's it going? Yeah, things are good here. Life is always awesome in Nicaragua. I do wish I had a pizza, though. Janet says, I listened, but I was doing things. I don't think I heard about the car, and now you're saying no, it is not. In Digital says, so I know you like menus. Will you share your menu at your place in Las Piñitas? I feel like I have, but so the menu and everything is being redone. Oh, no, I can share you the menu. Hold on. I don't have it in photo form. I have it in Instagram form. I'm going to get it up on other places as well. Let's see. Hold on. Where is the menu? Where can it be? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Menu page for everyone at Desperados. This is going to be getting updated. Our new branding manager arrives in 4 days to take over a bunch of stuff, but this gives you a feel for prices and stuff to get you started. This was kind of an emergency menu that had to be done quite quickly. And I feel that the one that's posted here is not actually the final. I think there was a printed one that came out after this. This was a race to get this out first because I'm eyeballing it and I'm like, that doesn't look quite right, but it's basically the menu. Pavilion is a sales office. I don't A sales office for what, though, James? I'm not sure. I get houses, but I'm not sure what the topic was. Luke says, but I did suggest a skateboard and extension pole with mount for the 360. If Johanna was still here, the girl that was in our skateboarding episodes, I would have her do that totally. That would be really cool. But she unfortunately moved to Spain, and so I do not have her to do skateboarding stuff anymore. But she totally would have done that for us, and that would have been really popular. They did not sell the car. Guy was just messing with us, and we're like, heck no. Let's see. Oh, I know I've got skateboarding pictures somewhere, but this is our skateboarder. But maybe if I search for skateboarding. Yes, here we go. Because I've done a number of skateboarding shots. There we go. This is actually before I knew her. She was on the show. I had been brought in by the skateboarding association or whatever to film. So we did an episode of skateboarding for things. And, this is dumb. Why is it? Okay. I think I can just grab this. This should be the photo. I think that's going to work. I can't test it very easily. Oh, there we go. Yes, that works. So that's her skateboarding in, 2 years ago. And shot with this camera and lens. But we did an episode, and she would have loved to do that. And she's been on the live stream a number of times from Spain. She will sometimes sign in and say hello to everybody. So, In Digital knows her. How do you know her? That's very funny. Yeah, if she does the live streams on, the problem is that the time difference is a bit extreme. So once in a while, we can catch her when she's awake. Well, now you guys are quiet. I finally caught up. She's a great bartender. Where the heck was she bartending? I don't think I've ever known her as a bartender. I did want to point out, for anyone who didn't see the discussions in the Expat Popoyo area, when the heck did she bartend in the Popoyo area? Because I knew her for years before she moved to Spain, and she definitely moved to Spain directly from Leon. And there's no way she was hiding in Popoyo because I would see her in person every couple days. She's always at Via Via on Friday nights. Luke says, I had 2 iced coffee at El Patio to stay up this late. I really should have some iced coffee. That would help. Can really hear the crickets. It's so true. They're so loud. Yes, Avianca is adding flights. Oh, both my doggies are here. They're being so sweet. They're being so sweet. The dog barking earlier was definitely mine. Hey, little boy, do you want to come be on the show? Or do you want to leave? What are you doing? Oh, he wants to leave. Hold on, gotta let the little dog out. He's at the door. Are you bored with the show? You want to go see people? Yeah, I know you're staying. You're lazy. Yeah, you're lazy. He wants to go do stuff. Oh, you're gonna leave too? All right. All right, go have fun. I've been abandoned by my dogs. Oh. The show to the sound of crickets. The show to the sound of crickets. It is nice to know that the microphone is so good you guys can hear everything outside, but it's also bad because it means I have to watch about all the background sound that comes around. Luke says, I feel like cats, dogs, and horses in the States are on steroids compared to the counterparts here. That is so true. Everything here is very lean. However, they also stay a little bit healthier because of that, I think. Yeah, not overall. Because they get parasites and stuff here, so that's super bad. But they all tend to be like healthy weights and everything, for the most part. And a lot of the dogs you see, you'll be like, the dog's so skinny, this is terrible. But then when you try to feed them, they'll be like, I don't want your food. I got better food somewhere else. And they're like, okay, that's actually their weight. Like, they're not. How long before you adapted to the heat with no AC in the house? So let's be clear. I do have AC in the house, right? It's just that I don't often use it. I am using it right now. I always use it on the live stream because otherwise the doors are open like it's crazy. And opening these windows can be tough. So when I say I'm in my office with no AC, I'm in my office with no AC and no open windows and no fan. Right? So it's actually relatively extreme. If I sleep with no AC, I also don't normally sleep with a fan, but I will open the windows. So it varies a little bit. Boy. So I would say my first 9 months, I definitely had air conditioning basically the whole time. When we moved to La Barrio, we moved there at about 9 months. I was definitely feeling better, but I would not try sleeping without air conditioning. Maybe I could have, but the middle of the city is pretty hot. The downtown holds the heat. So we always air conditioned there. But I would hang out in Managua and not have air conditioning on a semi-regular basis. And every time I would go to Managua, I'd be like, oh, this isn't so bad. And I come back to Leon and be like, oh, yeah, I see. And then I would say when we moved out to Sutiava, which is where I am now, living here pretty much automatically, that was the thing. So my adjustment time was somewhere between 9 and 24 months, which is a long time. But I don't know where in there. Once we moved out to Sutiava, or I spent time in Managua or any place cooler, I'm basically, the hottest nights, yeah, I'm going to want air conditioning. But even when it's 95 during the day, I can sleep at night without air conditioning. My dogs are okay without air conditioning, but they prefer it. My wife needs air conditioning. She's fine during the day. She'll go like all day with no air conditioning, but at night she needs it. But she also needs like tons of blankets. I don't need tons of blankets. I thought I did. I used to when I was younger. I would do tons of blankets. Now I don't. So I've changed like how I sleep and how I regulate my temperature. Like a lot of things have changed. So I found that like my preferred sleeping is open windows with a little bit of breeze, even here in Leon, but I would prefer Managua for sure for temperatures, with my dogs on a very firm bed, And really, I don't use like blankets or sheets or anything because you get that air movement, but it's just the right amount to make like the perfect temperature. That's my most comfortable, I think, overall. And of course, it's quiet. I don't have a fan running. I don't have air conditioning running. I don't have to worry about the power cutting in or out or anything changing. I don't have to worry about it feeling like the wrong temperature. I don't have to worry about getting caught up in blankets and stuff. And so that's kind of, so I would say probably like a year to year and a half is when I adjusted to a point where I am quite comfy and really just look forward to going to bed without air conditioning when I can do it. But I do have air conditioning quite often. If I do run air conditioning, I air condition to 25 degrees, which is... Hey Siri, what's 25 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
25 degrees Celsius is 77 degrees Fahrenheit.
Which is not bad. And then when I air condition the office while I'm working in here, I'm air conditioning normally to 80. Except during the live stream, I have to turn it down. And that's really it. So that kind of gives you a feeling of where I am. But if I'm in like Madagalpa or something, Rob Snyder says, I definitely wouldn't mind having a horse or two in Nicaragua. My wife would love that. Very doable. Luke says the horses are the size of Great Danes. They are very small. Chris says, I tried to give a horse an apple one time. He refused to eat it. Then he crossed the street and started eating out of a bag of trash. Yeah. Rob Snyder says, Luke, I'm sure it's possible to find different size horses, though. It is. There are really big horses. Luke, you got to go to the Ipico with us. You will see some big horses. Luke says, it is currently 70 degrees in Madagalpa with a low of 66, which sounds downright cold. Chris says, and his horse was emaciated. That is normally the case. Rob Snyder says, I think Carasso region or the north wouldn't be too bad without AC, right? Oh, no, for sure. North, fine without AC. Carasso, like, I certainly would not need, like, I might need AC 2 or 3 days of the year in Carasso. Even Hinotepe and Didiamba, which are like the warmer cities, no need. That whole region is pretty good. Southern Grenada, mostly okay. Grenada itself, very warm. But like Southern Grenada and that, yeah, you've got loads of areas. And even like just outside Grenada in areas like the Mirador of Katrina. No. What am I? Oh my gosh, my brain. I will tell you in 2 seconds. Why can't I think of the name of the town? Catarina. That was really close. It's just enough that it throws me off. The Mirador of Catarina. If you're up in Catarina, like I've been there in like ice cold rain with like cold fog and stuff, which of course I loved. So there's a lot of places pretty close to places that are hot that are also decently cool. And Digital says great skateboarder. She was a really good skateboarder. I've never seen her in Managua doing competition, but I've seen her in competition a few times. Rob Snyder says it sounds like perfect temps for me. And Digital says Dana Martino. Who's Dana Martino? Luke says Madagalpa, 63 to 89 all year round. El Patron. How far is the nearest nice beach from you? I walked there from the house one time. Are there horse ride tours in Leon? There are not. But there are horses that haul trash in Leon, and if you pay the guy, he will definitely haul you around. No question. El Patron, if I'm going to jump in the car, I can be on one of the best beaches in the country in 12 minutes. If I walk it, it should be about 3 hours. The last time I walked it, it was 4, but my foot was broken when I did it. It's right about 12 to 15 kilometers from downtown. It's 17 kilometers. I don't live downtown. I live towards the beach. But so it's pretty close. Close enough that we can run down there for food. We can run down there for anything. Oh, I'm having audio issues. Oh, yeah, the stream is a low bit rate. Let's see. Well, it's acting like it's recovered. I think it's coming back. We've made it pretty long without a problem. All right. All right. Audio issues. Audio sounds fine for me. Yes. Yes, it's okay now, I think. Who's Dana Martino? Luke says, unrelated, prior discussion of Nika starting to recycle, witness the G truck separating plastic, bleach, and oil bottles. Yeah, in Matagalpa, you're definitely going to get that. They're way ahead of most of the country. I need to see what's going on in the expat group, see how much stuff I have missed. People talking about some property. Around 70K at the moment, excluding land. Someone said about something. How is the tourist traffic these days? Luke says, oh, in Managua. Oh, in Managua. Well, that's pretty cool. In Digital says, how's the tourist traffic these days? Low. Overall, it's low. But the country's doing pretty well, so traffic for things is okay. Stuff is going on. We definitely are getting tourists, but it doesn't feel like a lot. El Patron says, how far are you from El Centro? Is traffic ever an issue? Traffic is a pain only because of congestion choke points. And this is being fixed, but we have the Marcadito where there's only one lane on the main road through the city. And so anything that crosses through there, like me, it's a huge pain to get there. I walk, if I'm in El Centro and go drinking and feel like coming home, I won't take a taxi. That's how close we are. But I walk farther than most people. Everyone needs me to say that every time. So typically, you're going to you're going to want to take a taxi out to like where I am. A taxi is going to be, I don't know, $4 and 5 minutes. On foot, it's 40-minute walk, which is fine through the city, like whatever, walking through the neighborhoods. I'm probably 2 kilometers from downtown. No, 3. I bet 3. I am. It's hard to say. I have a hard time gauging the distance through the middle of the city, but it's not super far. It's a reasonable walk. It's very rare that I want to walk to El Centro, but if I'm in El Centro, I'll walk home. That's often the difference. It's really rare that I would walk to El Centro, but if I'm drinking in El Centro and I've had a few drinks, I'm like, you know what? I feel like going home. And quite often what happens is I go out and I'll be like, okay, I'm coming out, but I'm not going out past a certain time. And my wife will be like, yeah, no, we're not going to go out later than that. And of course she means they are going out later than that. And then when it gets to be like midnight, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go home. And they're like, no, we're going to go out for longer. And I'm like, no. And I just walk home and they go out and do whatever. And so I'm like, but I don't like taking a taxi if I can walk because that feels stupid. Like, who would give up exercise and money? Especially if I've had a few drinks and I've got a little buzz going on. Like, I'm happy to walk. And if I get tired along the way, I could get a taxi. So I'll take a couple bucks with me, but whatever. And it's nighttime, so it's nice and cool. The walks on the main road, you're really safe. And the only time I end up in like the dark is when I'm out in my neighborhood. Like no one's gonna jump me in my barrio. So it's safe. I don't have to worry about walking alone. It's easy. Does 1 mile walk in Matagalpa equal 2 miles in Leon? It's got to be more than that. So yeah, Leon is quite walkable and very safe. So. What is the price of fuel in Nicaragua? Luke says $5.30. There we go, $5.30 a gallon, and it should be the same across the country. It says liter is $1.33 USD per liter, $1.33 according to global petrol prices. But if you go out and see the stations, they are. Oh my gosh, this is funny. If you watch, they must have set the price in 2021. Because the chart is like, since 2021, it's exactly the same price every day. But yeah, we're on fixed pricing here, so it does not vary. You can pretty much go anywhere in the country and pay the same. Jan says, I walk everywhere in the city, taxi to the beach. Luke says, oh, that was the price. El Patron says, how are the roads to El Centro, dirt or paved? Oh, I mean, it's better roads than in the U.S. generally. I mean, I've done a lot of videos. Like, everything is paved. The only time you get dirt roads is when you're like, you know, shanty towns in the middle of nowhere or something. Like, we're a very advanced city. The only reason that our roads are bad at all is because we are what am I trying to say? Colonial. So there's some places where they keep old cobblestones and stuff because it's like a museum, and so you kind of have to. But other than that, we have modern roads. I'm gonna try to find a video of the main road just so you can see it out here in the barrio. Well, this is probably, let's see. That's the right spot, but there's too many people standing on the road, so you can't see it. All right, hold on. We're going to go check Nicaragua 360. I know there's a video of what I want on there. Honolulu City bound, March of 14. There we go. Sutiava Main Street. Perfect. With music. All right, Patron, don't leave the live stream, but watch some of that video, and that is me walking the main street through my barrio. How is Marcela? Marcela is, she's been better. She's okay. She was supposed to be on. I don't know if she's here. She wanted to be on to announce the empanada thing tomorrow, so I'm going to make some announcements because it's the right time. So first, the thing that she wanted to announce. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Leon Main Plaza, we are filming Empanada Girl, Brussels, making empanadas, street empanadas. It's Colombian-style empanadas, the ones that I get delivered to my house. She's going to be making those out on the main plaza, and we're going to be filming. So anyone who wants to get empanadas or support our Empanada Girl or get to meet some of the crew, I'm going to be out there with Ida from the hurricane episode and from some of the baseball episodes. I'm going to be out there with Julian, who is from the barbershop episode. I'm going to be out there with Russell, who we showed on the live stream last week, and I think we've shown her 1 or 2 times before. And I think Erison is coming out to actually run the cameras, who I don't know if he's been on the show before. But will probably be. So that's a cool thing. Come out and join us for that, and that should be a lot of fun. And that'd be neat. How's Marcela doing? So real quick, we are still doing we're still doing the GoFundMe to raise money for her. And she was in the live stream earlier. Hold on, I will let her know. So for those who don't know, stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma. She is on Monday having what must be her 4th chemo treatment. She has to go through 6 chemo treatment before they will be doing testing to really know how she's doing. So we still have a bit of time between 4 and 5 weeks that we have to wait, we think, until we're going to have real answers as to how well the treatments are going. However, mostly she's being hit with normal chemo things, losing her hair, pain. There she is. There's La Marcelita. I just asked her to jump in. She has some pain. She has terrible stomach pain. It's causing some problems sleeping. She is losing her hair. She has lost a ton of weight and loses it fast, very hard to eat because of the stomach pain, because she has to be on very careful diets, that kind of stuff. But her spirits are well. Overall, a lot of things are doing pretty well. She's breathing so much better. 9-10 months ago, July, so however long, she's really struggling to breathe, like really scared that breathing was going to be the problem. She's really not having those breathing problems anymore. So it seems like something is working in some regards. and the chemo itself, obviously kicking her butt, but that's what it's supposed to do. But she does have days where she's feeling really good and she's able to go out and do things. So there's a lot of days where she's doing well, but there's also a lot of days where she's really exhausted. And so she's trying to split her time between being in Leon and living her life as much as she can. And this is where her home is, and being with her kids who are going to school in Managua. And so I think the process is going well, but it's obviously a very hard process. And so that's pretty much kind of the status at this point. She was really hoping to be here to do the empanada episode. We thought about doing it last week, and it just did not work out as something that we were able to do. We didn't have the time, and like for me, driving and stuff, like there's a lot of complications going on with some of the filming that we're working on. We're trying to get through a lot of this stuff. We're going to get a lot more awesome filming done soon, but getting her through the cancer is obviously a really big part of things. So if anyone is looking to help with all the support, we are doing the GoFundMe, which I just linked, and we did get a number of you tonight put in some extra money, and it really does make a big difference. It makes a big difference in how she feels. It makes a big difference in her actual finances. Like that really is important. There are just a lot of expenses when you are sick all the time, and it's sorry, I'm reading a note because I have a meeting early in the morning tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out. What is going on and why people are, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I got very distracted, but Marcela is talking. She says, pardon that she's been so absent today. She's not feeling very well, and right now she's taking medicine in order to sleep. But she wanted to say that going to prepare something beautiful that the recording. Yes, she wanted to say that we're going to do a beautiful recording tomorrow for the empanadas at 2:00. So she's been organizing that and everything. And I have to send a note. They've got a bunch of people that are on a meeting early tomorrow morning. All right. So, sorry, suddenly realized I had a bunch of stupid stuff for tomorrow, and I need, because it's early in the morning. All right. So Marcela is going to be heading off to sleep, I think, here in just a minute. Definitely once. If she's taking her medicine, she only has a little bit of time before she's falling asleep. But thank you, Marcelita, for coming on the show and at least getting to say hi. Everybody's been waiting for her tonight. Hopefully, we'll have her back on the show soon. Maybe, quizás en la próxima semana para estar en el live stream. I think she was in last week. And but it's hard even just to sit and do the show. So, but hopefully we can get her back on pretty soon. It's nice to give her a chance to see everybody and interact, because normally she tries to come out and do stuff with the show, and we've not been able to. So, and definitely getting less and less, right? As the chemo progresses, right, it's making her more and more tired. So likely the next few months are going to be extremely exhausting. But generally, what we've seen so far, it's early for picking up trends. She gets the chemo and then she feels good for a day or two, maybe a day and a half. And so it gives her a moment to be able to travel out to Leon and get to her home and get around everyone. Because here, and importantly, it's not just that she comes to Leon because it's where she lives, but it's also where she has support for her. So this is one of the complications. Her children get their support in Managua. That's where they're able to go to school and deal with a bunch of that kind of stuff. But her support, getting her medicine, getting her around to things, and having people to watch over her during the day are here in Leon. So that is very complicated. So when she's at her worst, she needs to be here when she's not able to take care of her kids and stuff. But when she's feeling better and can spend time with her kids, then she needs to get out to Managua and be able to spend time with them. But they don't really have their own space there. So it's all... it's all very challenging. There's a lot of tough things. Being a single mother when going through this, she does have family support, but her family owns a new business, and they can't let that slip. That's how you end up with no food. Russell is here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Russell is here. Hola, soy Russell. She is from Empanicas. Russell is going to be cooking our empanadas tomorrow a las 2 in the plaza. She says she wants to invite all y'all to join her for, I believe, to partake at 2 o'clock to display a little of her, I think, creation of Colombian food. There is some words I don't know. Marcela says, todos por viniente, por todos. All right, make sure that I don't miss anything. So, yeah, showing off her Colombian food business. Yes. Marcela wants to thank everyone, especially for all the financial support and the prayers. It really is meaningful, right? The amount of community support that everyone is so concerned about her and trying to be involved and help out. Everything has been fantastic. And she said, thank you so much for making her feel so special. Mosquito, hold on. I missed it. All right. Positive Timeline says, do you speak Spanish? Well, if you're asking Russell, she definitely does. If you're asking Marcelita, she definitely does. I speak a bit of Spanish, definitely not fluent Spanish, but I have pretty strong conversational Spanish and use it every day. So it's improved a lot. I've been for years now on television doing live stuff, not often, but I've done some live stuff, interviews in Spanish. So it's enough that they'll put me on TV and bring me back. And it's improved since I originally did those things. So I think actually the last time we were on live TV was quite some time ago. It feels recent until I really think about it. And I think we're pushing almost 2 years. Maybe that's not right. Maybe it's 1 year, but it's been a bit. Wow, now I need to track that down. I'm wondering, when was that? It feels so recent to think of it in certain terms, but I'm already Hold on, I will have it shortly. Oh, I've made a lot of videos since we made one that I was on TV. Okay, this says I was on TV just 10 months ago. So that is relatively recent. It was probably 11 months ago, but that is not a long time. Okay. And then the time before that was quite some time ago. I'm combining the two in my mind and making it seem like a long time. Oh, and Russell says, I just want to say thank you to Marcela and Scott to support me. I hope everyone can try my food and see what I do. So definitely, everyone, if you can, 2 o'clock tomorrow in the Leon Plaza. Come out and be with us as we do the show and record and get to meet Russell, and it'll be very cool. We don't ever do this before. Like, this is a new opportunity to do some get-togethers for everybody. So I don't know if we're going to get just 2 or 3 people, I would assume, but it would be really cool to see anybody coming out. So I will try to announce it in a short tomorrow morning, but I don't know how many people will see that. Luke says, last year's morning show. Yep, that's what I was trying to find. Tom says, Scott, I want to make sure you saw my compliments to your incredible episode driving Josie Marr to the Honduran border. That episode was so raw and lifelike. The emotion of the conversation flowed through. I did see that, Tom. Thank you. I tried to. Sometimes I don't say anything, because if I say something, the comment disappears. And I may have saved that one so that I could comment on it later or talk about it. So I have to be careful, because if I even hit the heart, it just vanishes for me. Not that it completely vanishes, but if I don't know exactly where to look for it, it can be all but impossible to find. But yes, thank you so much. And that was a really cool episode. I feel like I commented, but maybe I didn't. One of the things that I'm really working on, and I don't want to go into details because I want it to be a little bit of a surprise. I mean, it's going to be a pretty stupid surprise when you realize how lame it is. But I'm getting a new vehicle. I have purchased a new vehicle. I have an episode coming out about financing a vehicle, which will give away that I did buy one. And they're trying to buy my car, my old one here, which anyone wants, a Toyota Corolla, Toy 15. It's for sale. The new car, which I'm not going to tell you anything about, will have a better setup for being able to film in the car. Now, part of the problem with filming with Josie Marr is that we drove at night, so that just that doesn't work so well for filming. But we're definitely going to be setting up the new vehicle with some more permanent or semi-permanent filming accoutrements. So I want to make it that the vehicle not only takes me places to film more, that's certainly a goal, but also does a whole lot more of filming in the vehicle. If you go back to my, and don't actually do this. If you go back to 2020 and look at my episodes, the first thing you will realize is that they're terrible. But you will also see a few episodes where I'm filming in a Nissan Quest, and it was amazing. Like, it was really cool to film in the Quest, and I think I was either filming with a GoPro 9, but I don't think I normally was. No, I was. I had a GoPro 9. And filming in the Quest towards the end of 2020, I got some really good filming with it, and it would be like this like looks great. It was a really good way to do stuff, and the gear I have now is so much better. The GoPro 13 is so much better than the 9, right? And I still have the replacement 9. And so being able to up the game with better mics, better cameras, more cameras, and a new vehicle that has better light and stuff, I think is going to go a long way. And I know that sounds like, what's wrong with the old one? When you see, and I haven't tried this yet, but I guarantee when you see videos from the new one, you're going to go, okay, now I understand. Like, shape of car and stuff, they make a big difference. And with what I have now, I generally avoid filming in the car unless I'm like filming out the side through the window. It just doesn't look good. Just the way that the light works in the car, the way the windows are, it doesn't work. But so one of the targets of the new vehicle, and we already bought it, so I think it's a thing, is very much around being able to film in it, with it, and go places with it. So hopefully the new vehicle is going to unlock more things, like throwing people in the car, hooking up cameras, and having kind of that taxi driver vibe interview sort of thing while going places, because I do go places. and have these times where I could do things, but we don't have a good filming setup. So getting that fixed, I really hope it's going to be cool. I'm overselling it, and everyone's going to be like, this is dumb. Please stop filming that way. But yeah, that was a fun episode. I got to get Josie Mar to do some more stuff like that. He's been around. If you haven't seen the Bullwhip Festival episode, it's one of my favorite things that we've ever filmed, and it was not a very popular episode, and I cannot fathom why it wasn't like the biggest hit episode ever. Like, it's got to be in my Hall of Fame of episodes I can't believe exist. Like, it was so good, and it was just nobody cared, and I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Like, we honestly made a really good episode. However, someone called the AFP news agency, filmed like the same one that I was at. Oh, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure they stole my footage. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, these are shots from my camera. Why do I not know that that exists? Oh, these are totally shots from my camera. Wait. They should have given me credit for this. I am pretty confident that this is footage from me. Wow, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just really looks like my footage. But it came out at about the same time that I filmed one, and weird. Interesting. Bullwhip biggest hit episode, punny. Ha 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 ha. Is it going to look like Information Society's DeLorean all teched out? A little bit, maybe. Okay, no, I think their episode actually came out before mine, so maybe they didn't use my footage. All right, we will give them credit for that. For people who want to watch after the live stream's done, this is the episode, and I really think it's worth watching. It only has 700 views. Like, seriously, this was we traveled to a cool location. We did like more editing than normal. We did some touring of the town. We filmed the coolest festival that there is in the city. Now, next time I will take out a 360 cam. Now I know how to film it. I will bring more cameras next time. I got to train some people. I'm going to go out there with like 6 people instead of 2. We're going to do a ton of stuff. And you can see La Marcelita is in this episode, chasing Josie Mar with a whip in the street as like one of the opening things. And like, this was so much fun. And you got to go watch it. Like, it's such a good episode, and it just hasn't gotten the love. Because like random episodes that I do now, it's like 800-900 views. That's like I screwed up and the episode isn't very good. This one I truly feel was one of the better episodes, and just nothing. And like no one even like really commented on. Okay, James did with a little bit of background. Janet did. Kevin Adams, Buddhist, Patricia, like some of the regulars were in there, but it did not get. It should have really gotten some love. Luke, maybe you can come with us. I'll have Julian drive us out, and we'll take 6 cameras, get angles of everything, have someone like really edit it into like something really exciting. But I want to get the 360 and get it like out over top of people, so you're like in the action. I think that'd be pretty cool. Positive Timeline says, Scott, you are so cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. In Digital says, I always wanted a tuk-tuk. I have been trying to get a tuk-tuk for years. It just doesn't quite make the cut on making sense for a lot of things. I really want one, and I really wanted to obviously get a drone. I wanted to get a system where it would follow the tuk-tuk, because a good drone, will keep up with a tuk-tuk no problem, right? And so I wanted to be able to take a tuk-tuk and have a drone that follows it and get like amazing footage. That's obviously not in the cards. What I can do though is get like I do have a 10-foot, and that would do the job, but I really want to get like a 15. I'd really like a 20-foot carbon fiber pole that I can put out the back of the tuk-tuk and put a 360 on that, and then drive down the highway, and that'll look just like a drone, but you don't have to worry about managing it. It's not illegal or anything, and it would look amazing. Especially if you've got like the new it's old now. The Insta360 X4 would provide just staggeringly good images of the whole thing, and we could drive anywhere, and it would follow us. It would be cool. It'd be really, really cool. So yeah, I'd really like to do that. Or something. Tuk-tuk would be, we've talked for a long time about having like the tuk-tuk tours of the country and like just taking a tuk-tuk everywhere to do everything. It would be really neat. It would be sweet. I wonder when the new 360 cameras are coming out, because Insta360's been nearly a year. GoPro has been forever. There's a rumor that DJI is jumping into the game. But like Insta360 did so well, it's like they eliminated everyone else from the game. I feel like the last year for Insta360 has been a little bit boring. The X3 I've had for a couple years. So this is actually my X3 on the 10-foot pole. This pole goes to 10 feet. And this pole, it says Insta360 on it, but it's made by Suri, who is also the lens maker of these. We're on a Suri. Right? Completely by coincidence. This is the famous 10-foot Insta360 pole. It's one of the best things ever. If you're going to get any kind of a pole for a 360 cam, you got to get this one. It is so good. People are like, how do you do some of the things you do? And it's this pole. Like, you have no idea. It's such a big deal. But this camera I've had for like 3 years, and I really like it. And it's the X3. The X4 is the same camera, but I think they only upgraded the processor. It's the same sensors, same everything. So most of us didn't upgrade, but it did make a few things better. Like, they did improve it, but it was such a minor upgrade that you're just like, whatever. But the Go 3 was a really big upgrade over the Go 2. So I got the Go 3. I love it. But I don't use it very often. Like, it's a very much a limited thing. But it got upgraded to the Go 3S. So it was the same camera, but they managed to pull a little bit more out of it. It was like a software update almost. Not quite, but basically. And it's like nothing really big and exciting has come out of Insta360 for the last bit. They have these like tiny upgrades, and it's been like over a year. So I'm waiting for them to turn out something really big and interesting in their main camera lines. Because, but also GoPro has been forever without a 360 camera. We're all like, what the heck is going on? GoPro's like, we're bringing out so many products this year, so many things focused on so many people. That was like June that they said that. They did their regular upgrade to the GoPro 13 from the 12 in September, like clockwork, and they brought out the GoPro, like that's its name, and it's just a little tiny GoPro that's a lower quality but cheaper and smaller. Like, sure, I would like one. It's neat, but I don't really need a tiny one. It's like in between the Insta360 Go and a full GoPro. Like, okay, it's great that they're fitting into that spot in the market, and you've got these options. Wonderful. Hardly constitutes a new camera. It's kind of like a GoPro 9. It might be older, like a GoPro 8 repackaged into a really small modern form factor, which, okay, cool. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm a little bit, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm a little bit disappointed in the releases for the last bit. DJI with the Pocket 3 was a big one, and that took them forever, but it is amazing. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It keeps me from buying a bunch of stuff. The cameras I have are pretty amazing, so I really don't need to be buying anything else, because I do get tempted, obviously. But it would be nice as well if we had something really new and groundbreaking that did something super cool. Anyway, so In Digital says drones are illegal, right? They are very illegal. Yes, and they upped that game. They're not just illegal, but they used to be less illegal, and now they're more illegal, which is weird to say, but they like doubled down on it and made it more illegal than it was before. So now, if you have one, you really want to make sure you are not getting caught trying to exit with it. And it's coming up on 11 o'clock. I think it's probably a good time to wind down and call it a night. We're not doing the longest show tonight. We're just about 4 hours, but we're dwindling on people and things are getting kind of quiet. We do want to make sure that everyone's able to get some sleep. I do have a meeting early in the morning. Oh, my dad is here. Okay, my dad is saying good night. In Digital says, I had one confiscated. Yes, they are supposed to confiscate them, and now they're really not supposed to give them back either. They might. It can happen, but in general, they don't. Night Dad. Luke says, YTEX 360 was a fraction of GoPros. Yeah, GoPros is really expensive, but it does come with some cool features. But now the GoPros is so old that it's like, yeah, whatever. Does YTech or whatever still make one? Because I feel like they went out of the market. Like, that's the thing. So many people, there was a time when the 360 cams were like, yeah, this is a thing. Yeah, I can't even find their, because I misspelled it. Yi is still around. Dale says good night. Janet says, I'm exhausted. Good night. I'm just going to check this camera and call it a night, but I am interested in... It really doesn't show. I don't think they have that stuff anymore. They've done away with all of those kinds of things. Yeah. So Butta says good night. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to hit the GoFundMe to help support Marcela. Remember to come out tomorrow at 2 o'clock to come see us with Russell in the park. And as always, I will see all of you